What up? All right. We've been dropped in a little bit. MadMen Phantoms going against Black Lotus, who were undefeated, I think, until they came up against Celestial. Some flavor of Celestial. Shadow. I don't know. Drew's made so many teams with that org. But for this one, most importantly, Joseph. We have.
Yes, hello.
Obviously, I'm here to mostly just flame Damon. But, you know, there is an opposing team. I actually do recognize one of the Black Lotus players, Samvet, the carry player. I think I've covered him in the past. But they did have to swap out. They have had to bring in one of their substitutions at the cost of some bans.
Yeah, it's just one of those unfortunate things with this being a low division tournament. Even if most of these players are diamond and stuff, they're still playing at their homes and whatnot. So issues are going to occur here and there. It's something which no one can really work around. So it's just a case of like, we'll just use one of our subs. We'll take the hit. It's okay.
Apparently, the Black Lotus forgot that they had lost some bans. I think that just after those two bans, they'll not ban the rest. Wait, hang on. So why have Mad not banned?
Is this the right way round?
That is a good question. Production. Okay, they
so
are remaking the lobby.
yeah, okay, cool.
All good. We'll get there.
Division 1, ladies and gentlemen. And I can also hear myself through Mistos, and I don't like it.
No, but the important part is like if Damon's anything to go by, the draft is completely irrelevant.
I mean, we'll simply have to see. With MadMen, you now know that the enemy have 3 less bans. So now you're saying to yourself, okay, what are 3 champions that we desperately want to have that they cannot ban at this point in time? These champions, you want to give them a reason to ban for the next game or two. Unless even in this draft it's fearless. Is it fearless throughout, or is it? I genuinely don't know what the rules are. I have not been following Valanth forever.
So I think standard fearless. Any champion that is picked in any game is locked out for the rest of the series.
Okay, so that's it throughout the whole thing.
Yes.
So yeah, might as well get those champions which were going to be banned in the first game, possibly even through all 3 games. If we do get to all 3 games, get them right now. Make it so that you have that advantage in this first round.
As you rightly said, the way that draft normally goes, obviously, if your blue side is most of those egregious power picks are going to get banned away, and you kind of plan around taking the most powerful that's left and giving 2 to the opposing team. But now you can effectively plan the first half of your draft around having crazy power picks. Like, there are going to be just more of them in the pool because there are 3 fewer bans, which means that as long as Mad don't go off the rails, we could see like just 3 extremely powerful champions as the first half of draft, and then the second half merely needs to be a couple of things to tie it all together.
Yeah, of course, and these people are not pro players. They are not going to be able to make all these amazing compositions where all these players play 10 different champions. There's always going to be some champions that may not fit the mold, but if anything, that is just going to keep your flexibility and variation of what you have in the draft better all around. As long as there is as there is a clear understanding of what the team primarily want to do, you can have a straggler here and there.
For
Very
example,
good.
Tristana being first picked, it's something that has a very strong early game. You can draft a very powerful early bot lane and try and bully out in the early stages. Obviously, scales up to be an utter menace later in the game as well. Looks like Black Lotus are going to just look to respond to the Trist and take something that can hit just about as hard in the early lane with the Corki.
Yeah, Corki, a champion that Zamfit did play in the last few seasons that I know about. I was a substitute in the last Division 1 tournament. He is a good player, definitely for a fact, but I do feel like
Hmm.
there is a sort of stain with the finals games that he did have. He's most definitely going to have this season to truly show why he did deserve to have those 2 championships that he does have.
Absolutely. I like. Usually you wait and see Poppy a little bit later, but I mean, if Black Lotus just want to lock in their bot lane super early, that oppressive Tristana gameplay that can sometimes come through could just be completely mitigated by Poppy walking up, pressing W, and noping Trist's whole existence.
Yeah, definitely, and there is still that variation where Poppy could still go jungle, could even possibly go top lane.
Hmm.
You still don't know for an absolute fact.
We love ourselves a good flex pick.
Although, if this puppy is support, are you sort of playing into what this puppy wants to do, going for the Alistar along with the Tristana as well?
I've got to assume that Damon is working along the lines of if you try and engage simultaneously, then yeah, that is massive steadfast presence value. The alternative statement is that if Poppy tries to rush forwards, never mind, that's the Milio. So seeing the opposing support, they are going to move Poppy out of the bot lane. And Emilio gives the cow just as hard of a time because the Ultra Mega Fire Kick is going to keep Alistair theoretically at arm's length eternally.
But it's also going to be one of those reactionary skills as well. If the Alistar goes in and the
Mhm.
Emilio is not able to use that kick, you're in a rough spot. This really comes down to how safe the Cookie and Emilio do want to play into this Tristana and this Alistar.
Yeah,
But
certainly if Damon wants to do as Alistair's are wont to do at times, which is just flash pulverize and then headbutt for a sort of cow sec, then Milio's a good target for that because he is uber squishy. He's got some healing obviously with the cozy campfire and with his ultimate, but it's pretty easy to pick him if that first bit of CC lands.
we do have to see if Damon does have the movement with the Alistar in order to do in order to do that.
The movement.
The movement.
It sounds better with your tone of voice.
Meh. A pound's a pound. It doesn't matter how good your voice is, it's still cringy to hear. Yes!
Hey, base as hell. We're actually being.
It's me! I'm no longer Mistos!
I could have been
Oh, we
Vasu.
can't.
Oh, okay. So Trundle's a pretty interesting one, of course. Historically, it is like the silver bullet answer to Sejuani because if you press subjugate at the right time, you push the Sejuani into negative resists.
Negative resists. Interesting.
Yes. If the Sedge is running aftershock and you hit the ultimate, the Trundle ultimate that is, at the correct time, when the aftershock resists and all of this stuff like the frost armor passive falls off, Sejuani goes into negative resistance and takes bonus damage from everything.
That is actually very fascinating. I've never really been one to focus that much on the jungle interactions and that sort of stuff. I tried jungle once in my many years of playing this
Uh,
game, and I was like, never again.
I somehow I ended up playing jungle quite a lot. It's the this is the brackish toxic moment. It's like I don't necessarily enjoy playing jungle, but when I don't play jungle, I can't trust whoever my jungler is unless I'm in a 5 stack.
Yeah, I understand that. The Aatrox on top, that's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I like the composition that we see here. The Vel'Koz at the end is kind of nice. There isn't, as long as Black Lotus puts something in front of the Vel'Koz to absorb the long range crowd control. We're talking, Glacial Prison out of the Sejuani. As long as he doesn't let himself, like, lock himself down and get hit by Scatter the Weak, then the possibility of just fully channeling out a Lifeform Disintegration Ray, that can deal immense damage around a team fight, especially if Mad Phantoms end up a bit stacked.
It's very interesting to see these two sets of teams as it is, because on the MadMen side, it's a very clear, easy pick comp that you have there. You have the
Yep.
you have the Sejuani ultimate, Alistar able to get him really easily, Scattered a Week from Syndra, being able to get a few targets, potentially more, and then of course
Yeah, it's interesting
lookups as
because
well.
you look at this draft, and to me, been around as long as I have, this is a reasonable interpretation on what I would call solid drafting fundamentals. You've got frontline, you've got big damage carries, you've got means of protecting them. Good stuff. On
Also,
the opposite
yeah,
side of Black Lotus, they're a little bit squishier. Like the Trundle and the Poppy do need to do a little bit of work to actually uh, reach that baseline level of frontlining, but they come with their own upsides that could make life difficult for the Phantoms.
yeah, I think if both teams just walk into each other, I do think MadMen do have the advantage. I think Black Lotus do need to play a little bit sneakier, a little bit fancier with where they are on the map. And we're just getting into just the general draft now, just sort of sorting everything out.
Mm.
And then we have to wait, what, 3 minutes and then actually get into the game itself.
Yeah. So, was there a matchup that you saw that particularly ignited the imagination?
Not really, if I'm going to be honest.
I'm
This is,
interested to see how mid lane goes because you don't tend to see Vel'Koz all that much unless you're, a geometry major ASAP viewer.
good old answer.
Yes, Oppression. So for those that might not be aware, Oppression is normally the Black Lotus top laner. Because of the substitution that had to happen, Oppression, who's moved into the mid lane, will be playing that Vel'Koz, and Shrocklo is the substitute who has come in top lane, who is being put on Poppy duty, who should have an okay time into the Aatrox, of course. Money to Make's going to have a slightly tougher time of landing repeat knockups because you can't Umbral Dash into a Poppy, in theory at least.
Honestly, I'm just very, very happy that we don't have a game where there's some absolute utter BS that either team had to deal with. Because if I have to cast a game where there is something like an Ethereal or something, I'm not going to be a very happy man.
Neferi, Neferi is one heck of a thing.
Yes,
Um,
I just don't understand why League is sort of going into that sort of champion design. It just makes the game completely unfun.
yeah, I suddenly you cannot hurt me. The most egregious thing to me is the fact that it resets tower aggro. I feel like if they removed that, she would feel a good deal less unfair because you can actually leverage your towers to potentially at least trade back.
Mm. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's try and
We,
focus on
we've
the
got like
actual
four.
champ.
We got 4 minutes until game. Like we can
Oh
have an
yeah,
anti
that is
Neferi
also
sandbox,
true.
Joseph.
Yes. That is also very true. Yes, I will say, Tristana was definitely one of those champions I did want to learn for a very very long time, and I just never really got around to it.
Yeah,
I don't know why, to be honest. Like I've always been someone who did prefer an engage or tankier support, who will play along with me. and someone like Tristano goes along with that very well.
Definitely.
Also,
The
Damon,
thing I'm s-
absolute beauty of a man.
the thing I'm wondering right now is where junglers could look to apply early pressure. Because if either of these mid laners lose their flash fairly early, that is potentially a very big angle to exploit.
Yeah, definitely. I think top lane's one of those weird ones where it's like you can't really do too much with it because can't Aatrox just dash through the Trundle pillar?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is the potential of the setup though that if Jungle Buddha and Shrocklo are communicating enough, you can pillar and Poppy stun them.
Yeah, that's also very true. I
Of
mean, what
course,
into for Sejuani, bot lane is also a pretty good one because Medio can only really knock back one engage at a time.
yeah,
So if they
especially
over,
pre six, the like if any resource that gets expended is obviously a win,
of
even if it's
course,
not a kill. It's especially if in with regard to early jungle objectives. Of course, these teams do need to decide like which way. Well, we'll see first and foremost if they do what especially higher teams to do, and the first set of jungle objectives are usually handshook. One team will say, "Okay, well, we have early bot lane prio, so we're going to take dragon," and the other team will look to prioritize grubs. But usually grubs get fought over at like we're talking high level. We're talking tier ones. But I wonder if they just go for more of a handshake, try and keep things towards a more neutral state, because neither of these teams scream we need to win by 25 minutes or the game's over. They've still got good scaling.
yeah, both teams still do. I definitely do agree with you. The only thing I'm dreading is both teams get to a sort of point where it's like 20 minutes into the game, there's only been one or two kills. No one
Ah,
really
yes.
wants to push that trigger or
Mid
press that button.
2010s LCK. Let's go.
Yes. If it ever gets to that point, it's going to be an absolute despair to cast.
At that point, I
It's
feel like we need to we'll pull up Wordle or something for that then.
exactly yes. There,
Yeah.
it's just like I told you. I genuinely don't know if you know this player or not, but I just want everyone to play like how Bramsh does. Just everywhere at every point in time, trying to get whatever advantage they can. And worst comes to worst, they die for it. Hey, guess what? 2 minutes later, back in your lane once again. That's all I want to see. I want to see blood spilled everywhere.
I mean, as play-by-play caster, I can't complain with that. Although, I would like to allow you to have an opportunity to speak at some point on this cast.
And honestly, I would be more than fine for you
Just
to
revel in the madness.
exactly
Blood
yes.
God smiles upon us.
I'll just go to my local supermarket, which I'm not going to say because I don't want any free advertising. Gonna go get some popcorn, and I'll come right back.
Well, with that disappearing off your screens, I think we shouldn't be too far off from game. If production can confirm in my ear how long we've roughly got. Delightful. We are seconds away, folks, from hitting the rift for this first game. MadMen Phantom up against Black Lotus. Up the both in the upper side, I believe, of VL Division 1. They've had some good results.
Yes,
Speaking
Black
of,
Lotus. Yeah, Black Lotus. Technically second with 3 wins, 1 loss. The Celestial team have 3 wins and no losses, so we'll have to see how that goes. MadMen only have the 1 win at this point in time, and I do believe that is actually because of one team forfeiting from the tournament completely.
hmm,
So the 2 games that MadMen have played, they have lost.
well, let's hope they can turn their fortunes around. As we have, I mean, would it even be a a broadcast like this if we didn't have a pause.
Seems like Top is having some sort of technical issue. I believe it was the yeah, I do believe that it was the top laner of go on, I'm so the original top
Black
laner
Lotus,
was the one of Black Lotus was the one that couldn't play, and now their mid laner and now their substitute top laner is also now having issues as well. It just seems like top is not a very good place right now. Oh, the mid laner couldn't. Okay.
Yes, so yeah, the mid laner couldn't play, so their top laner moved mid, and the replacement top laner is now struggling. One thing that just got noted by Jonas, old Jonas, is that Mad Phantoms also have a relatively new player, a new addition. Clyde Hype on the Tristana is apparently relatively new to the squad.
Yeah, sometimes some things just don't work out as it is. Sometimes you do need to make those early changes just to try and see if it gives you any sort of advantage. I don't know whether the old ADC just cannot play today, or if it's a complete change.
Well, if it is a new change, then we'd already talked about the potential reversal of fortunes for Mad Phantoms.
Yep. Either way, let's just hope that this Clyde guy is worth all the hype. Apparently.
Yeah, and I'll be watching bot lane closely these early 5-10 minutes, because if we can at least see, if they go even, then that's far from an indictment, because we've already said Samveta has won VL twice.
He has, definitely. I will say, having watched the previous final, I did bring this up. His performance was not the best. If you were to compare the two teams, overall, I do know GBM was the finalist that lost. It was Meat Beaters, yes. Meat Beaters, definitely worthy of the win. It was really only Samfit's performance that was a bit shaky. Bomber clearly having the better of the two ADC games throughout the whole series itself. So it's like I said, this is the tournament for Sam to really show that he deserves that he did deserve the two final wins that he has, and also make it a third one in a row as well.
Yeah, 3 in a row, and you've got yourself a legacy secured effectively at that point in VL.
There are no questions asked after that.
Yeah, third time is like you can't really put it up to luck anymore. So yeah, my point being that if Clyde and Damon can just maintain a relatively even lane, then that's not a bad sign. And if they can go ahead in the early stages and maintain an advantage, then that could be a sign of very good things to come.
Just as long as Damon at some point in the game gives me a kiss, that's all I care about when it comes to this bot lane 2v2.
Meanwhile, I'm waiting for, like, if he dies in a way that isn't sacrificing for the team, like I've got the grill ready.
Well, every single support at some point dies for a very unnecessary reason. I feel I feel like that is the way to become a true support main, is dying for absolutely no reason.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yes. As someone who used to be a support main myself, I have been there many times.
An interesting one, actually. Support is the one role I played it quite a bit, so I've been around far too long. Like tail end of season 1 is when I started playing. I had a pretty good Leona for a few years, but in more recent years, support just isn't working for me. I don't know.
how it happens, isn't it? Sometimes you just find that the skills you once had were no longer there. I will say that when I was a support
Implying
main,
they
I
were there in the
wasn't
first place.
I wasn't really a support main myself. I was actually more of a Braum one trick. I absolutely love that champion to bits.
Brom's great.
Yeah, I absolutely love Braum. I wish to see Braum at some point in this game. There are 3 champions that I would love to cast. One being Braum, one being Aphelios, and one being Baby, aka Smolder. I would love to cast either of those 3.
Yeah. We love Smolder in this house. Up
Baby!
to like just to the right hand side of my desk, there is a little Spyro the Dragon little canvas. Like day one of Smolder coming out, I got his skin, I got the purple chroma. Every game I play, he is Spyro
Good
the Dragon.
stuff. I genuinely don't know why I started calling Smolder Baby, but it's just completely stuck for me.
I mean, he is a baby.
He's Baby!
You never put baby in the corner. It's kind of hard to actually. He can just fly over the wall.
Exactly, yeah. Although there was one time where I went into the wall and then the enemy jungler Jarvan was just like, nah, oh, it's me anyway.
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes.
Very interesting how things work. Either way, we did see that that Shortglow did reconnect. I'm wondering if we are potentially going to go back into the game maybe sometime soon. Hopefully.
Quite possibly.
We have. I mean, we still have no idea, but hopefully things are progressing very well. Because if this goes on for another 7 minutes and 40 seconds, then they are. Oh, there we go.
As we say it,
I know my stuff.
there is life.
Oh, look at the Velcros go.
All of that stored up energy, coiled
Yes.
like a spring as oppression pounces out of the fountain. And we pause a little, of course, because of the pause. Okay. We can actually start talking about the game in earnest. When things start moving. There we go.
It's going to be interesting to see where these junglers go. Like you brought up, I do think the top lane is going to be very, very nothing for now. You never know how things will change, especially if either one of these junglers do want to get priority for these scrubs that will be spawning at some point during the game.
Right now, no shenanigans.
No
It
shenanigans
is
whatsoever.
incredible honesty. Straight up 5v5, line of scrimmage. No one shall cross the river.
I will say, oppression is going to have to do is going to have to do a lot to be able to impress us, considering that we both know ASAP very, very well in terms of his content. So
Oh,
if
yes.
we don't see any zap plays whatsoever, disappointment.
It's not the easiest thing to pull off in a competitive setting, of course. First blood is scored by Sheep. 11 gold from the first strike. Mid lane has already won.
Yep, and as you see right there, 2 for 2 at this point in time, holy sheep. So,
At the moment, it's pretty chill. I'll be able to get slightly the better of these early trades, but I mean, your Dark Sphere has considerably shorter cooldown than Plasma Fission or something. I can't remember the specific names of all of Vel'Koz's abilities.
Vel'Koz Q. Just call it that. It's perfectly fine. Vel'Koz Q.
You don't get it, man. I pride myself on knowing every ability name in the game. Then like a Hui gets locked in, and I have to go find the cheat sheet.
I used to pride myself on knowing every single original 151 Pokemon. Now I can't remember all of them. It happens to the best of us. Our memory slowly fades in time.
Yeah, I'm over the bridge already.
But so
right now, things going pretty chill. I mean, we see that the Black Lotus bot lane got level 2 first, so the typical respect had to be given. But Clyde's not exactly falling behind on CS for it. So,
yeah,
not much to worry about. Junglers
Not
Ooh,
as
I wonder, actually.
no.
I see that the ward got popped down on the blue side chickens, which means that Varric, there we go. Yeah, another ward's been put down. So I think Black Lotus are well enough aware of the Sejuani's location, which means that they should be less likely, I'm not going to say it's a guarantee, but less likely to be caught unawares.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question. With the two comps that you see right here, which team do you think has the advantage going past, say, 35 minutes?
So Sejuani Syndra is Syndra Tristana are a hard duo to bet against, because there's going to reach a point where Unleashed Power is going to delete Samvet or Oppression pretty much no matter what, as long as a couple of spheres have been put down first, as some CC will start to land. Winter's Wrath actually gets missed by Varric here. The flash coming over the top. Jungle Buddha will put a little bit of damage back, but that is a flash taken away from a mid laner in the early stages. We were talking about it being a potential pain point. And so now Oppression is going to have to play with... well, he's only got one eye. He can't even have, like, an eye on it over his shoulder because... yeah, he's lacking it. But, of course, going to be a little bit more aggressive. That's just what a Trundle likes to do in the early stages of the game. Varric actually moving to try and contest. I don't think the flail is going to be able to find its mark. Though I say that, Permafrost lands as the follow-up damage is there. Also, Varric has a flash to try and finish it up. Flash forwards from money to make. It's a lot of summoners invested by the side of Mad Phantom. So the Isle to pick that one up. Damon now going forwards. They are burning pretty much everything. Clyde has been exhausted up. It looks like they are going to have to step away. No, neither bot lane particularly looking too good at the moment. Samvet was able to hold on to his barrier though, so if the play were to continue from here, we've got the cozy campfire, we've got a barrier available. It's unlikely to go. Never mind, they're jumping in anyway. The bomb stacking up. Samvet will get bursted. Clyde's going to pick up one. He's going to pick up two. It's the feat of warfare early on for the Mad Phantoms. Forget what I'm saying. Damon knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. It's been... what, 4 minutes of not really much happening, and then you close your eyes for 2 seconds, and next thing you know, 3 kills all over the map.
It almost feel like nothing changed at all, as the first feat has been completed already. They have the priority towards the dragon also. Clyde, I believe, not having taken a reset just yet, which means they'll be able to take this one down. Then they will need to take a reset, so they'll lose a little bit in the CS stakes, but they've already got 2 kills in pocket. They're not going to be too upset about that, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine to have just recall right here, or potentially just try and get the wave and then recall afterwards. Since you have quite a bit of money from those 2 kills, you can also potentially just wait to get the BF sword as well, depending on what the Tristana wants to get first item. I genuinely do not know. I have, like I said, I've not touched this game for a good few months. I don't know what changes there have been. So this is
a very worthwhile point though, because like, how are you ever going to dive as Corky Milio? They're currently pushing in.
You basically can't, especially not against a Tristana.
They're going to look for an engage once again towards the bot side. Jungle Buddha is in the vicinity though, so a pillar might be in the cards. Damon is going to get chased down. Pulverize onto all 3. He will drop, however, but a noble sacrifice keeps his carry safe for the time being. I think he and Varric are going to need to stick around though, otherwise that is going to be a whole wave lost to the turret. Jungle Buddha posturing for a potential dive, but I still do not think they have the necessary resources to undertake that.
It is a little confusing why you would try and go in at that point in time, especially considering that your Tristana hasn't gone back and got any items. Because of it, you don't know where the jungle specifically is.
That's the first buy right there.
Miss.
BF sword, Hunter slingshot, and an extra sword to boot. Level 6 being hit also.
Yeah, I feel like if you just wait for the Tristana to recall, get these items and come back, that 3v3 becomes very different.
Yeah, they were very much considering the punish angle, but yeah, just like yes, your Tristana has 2 kills, but that gold has yet to actually exist.
Exactly.
It is stuck in a pocket and not being used to any real extent. Jungle Buddha seems to want to play here, but Varric's got the level 6 and all of the crowd control will land. The exhaust, however, blocks out the unleashed power. Money to Make says bet, though. He's made his way down from the top lane, doing a fantastic job of having priority, and that's the second time he has been able to move out of top lane, get on
We have
into
become Lee
his
Sin.
plays.
It seems that the game has crashed for us spectators, so there's we can at least reel it back now and talk about what happened. So with the first blood with the Trundle, we do see that this is simply going over what we have already seen anyway, so it's perfectly fine. The Trundle comes in, overstays a little bit too much, and because he's staying around where the Sejuani is, it simply allows the Sejuani to get the stacks off. It allows the Aatrox to come down, makes the Syndra able to come as well. It's a bit too easy for the side of MadMen to get that kill. I feel like if you're not going to do anything with the Trundle, you just walk away and focus back on farming. You just put yourself in a bad spot for absolutely no reason or gain whatsoever.
Yeah, it's safe to say money has been made at this point.
Oh,
This
100%. He is...
already got Brutalizer, 3 kills in pocket. They are really taking advantage of the fact that Black Lotus are using the replacement in the top lane. Poppy, Shrottle has clearly been told, it's like, okay, just scale up, get tanky, be useful later in the game. The problem is Mad Phantoms seem to have read that. And yeah, this Aatrox is getting spooky.
Yeah, I mean, Money to Make is gambling with loaded dice, and because of it, he had 3 kills, Brutalizer already, going to go back and get even more items as well. There is even a possibility that Money to Make has his first item before 10 minutes as well, and on an Aatrox. That is scary. Like, look at the amount of damage that he is doing at this point in time. That with a complete full item, potentially even with upgraded boots as well, and you're looking at a Poppy who is trying to scale up and be be a good tank. It's going to be next to impossible.
It's going to be very tough, as you say. And for Mad Phantoms, they are not the composition that's going to fold later games. So having an early advantage is all well and good, although Holy Sheep going to be having the very best time of things. Varric has moved across, misses the Winter's Wrath again, however, or the Arctic Assault, sorry, Winter's Wrath. Will slap onto Jungle Buddha, but having missed the Q, he can't set up for the Permafrost stun.
The flash there from Sheep, I don't think was absolutely necessary. There wasn't any, the Vel'Koz did not use the knock-up at all, especially with your own jungler coming as well. You can hold on to it. You don't need to use it.
No, I think you could have waited for the Tectonic Disruption to be used, and then burn the flash, especially since Varric was nearby. But I also respect the just keeping it secret, keeping it safe. Mad Phantoms, I think they have to be cogent of the fact that they have the early advantage, up 5-1 in kills. That is a fairly accurate assessment of the current situation. They are about 2k up right now. Sheep, though, lacking his flash now, getting burnt down by the Lifeform Disintegration rate.
Yep.
Not quite going to have his geometry set up, though, so Sheep will be able to walk it out.
And that's a very, very big reason why if Sheep have managed to hold on to the flash, that could have potentially been completely different. But it's not as it is. I will say, with this Aatrox pick, I did look at the patch notes, and the Aatrox healing was apparently buffed.
It has. Crack looking to find an angle towards the backside. Oppression seems to be the target here, but it may be that the front line is not going to last long enough as Jungle Buddha walks down Varric. That is what we're talking about with the Subjugate. This Trundle becomes extremely tanky. Clyde now has to walk this one out, and it looks like the MadMen Phantoms have just bitten off more than they can chew. Jungle Buddha still chasing forward. The Unleashed Power, though, will be the response. They look to trade this one back forward. Samvet, though, is able to do the damage. Damon is tanky, but he's not going to be able to do enough. And just like that, there is a dragon awaiting, and the gold is brought back to pretty much dead even.
I will say this has been the third or fourth time where Clyde has not been prioritizing the champions that his other teammates have been targeting. And that is causing some issues with where the actual damage is being placed onto the enemy.
Especially when you're playing a Tristana. Like, you need to be pairing up with your teammates, because one reset is pretty much enough to be a fight winner.
Yes.
There's the simple reality of being able to hold up a charge of the rocket jump to get out of a nasty situation, or, of course, if the situation is looking good, then continue to play forwards. A new patch, and the spectator clashes have returned.
New patch always comes with new issues. One thing gets fixed and 20 more things get broken.
However, despite the fight going badly, Samvet's currently on the chase. Clyde, not too happy with his current situation, but Mad Phantoms were able to pick up the second dragon, despite having lost that previous fight.
Yeah, and that's honestly very, very confusing. The fact that the red side were not able to get anything from the fight that they had just won. Black Lotus seemed to be, getting the scraps, but not being able to actually cook it all into something better. And whilst the gold is still even, I do feel like once Clyde is able to start focusing the enemy champions that Damon and Varric are locking down, it's going to become one-sided very quickly.
That's the hope, although in that last fight we did see what we're talking about with Jungle Buddha. That the Trundle, if given an opportunity to just yoink a whole bunch of health and resists off of this Sejuani, he can become a real problem, really hard to dislodge.
Yeah, very much so. Like,
obviously, apologies for the repeated crashes. It is just the case sometimes with these league patches introducing all kinds of spectator bugs. I can remember a period of like 2 months where casting was nigh impossible outside of tournament realms because of bugs.
but hey, Riot can always bring out £500 skins and then do absolutely nothing with the money that they make from them to actually make this game a better experience for everyone.
Small indie company. All right, as you may have noticed, we're going to revert back to standard overlay and see if that might be functioning slightly better. Jungle Buddha able to steal away the red buff from Varric, but still it is to the benefit of Mad Phantoms. They were able to go and take the Herald as well. So they have already completed the feats of strength. Those extra boots would be very nice.
Yeah, but that will be something to come up later on in the series. It's not a very good idea to get those upgraded boots at this current point in time. Getting more completed items.
I was looking into this actually because I was quite curious. There are certain champions that it is actually objectively the best choice. Like Ashe, for example. If you get feats of strength, you want to pick up the upgraded Berserker's Greaves as quickly as you can, like immediately after 2 items, because the movement speed you get on auto attack is so important for her play pattern.
Yeah, well, that's Ashe. Ashe is Ashe.
My queen.
Quite literally.
Yeah. Also, just, having played her since not quite the dawn of the game, but yeah, since late 2011.
I still...
I'll tell you what.
Do you remember, outside of the tutorial that everyone played, what was the first champion that you played? Do you remember?
I remember my first main. It was Xin Zhao back in Season 2, and I got from about level 10 to level 30, and I basically one-tricked him in my first, like, batch of ranked games.
I remember, for me, my first time outside of it, I played a PvP game, and I had to pick one of the 3 characters because blah blah blah, League of Legends.
Yep.
It was Ringo, and I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. And
Oh
then
dear.
I then moved on to Garen, and I played him mid. Because I did not know what I was doing. Very, very fun.
Yep. Innocent times.
Very innocent times. More fun times, people would say.
Shelly being dropped in the mid lane here, so MadMen is going to try and claim something. Jungle Buddha might have actually overplayed, though. Shroclo is going to come in to support, and it feels like MadMen are kind of being closed in on Varric. He's able to land a good stun. They're trying to make some space here. Money to Make has decided on his target. It will be Sam Vet. He does have his flash available, but Varric is able to pick up that first kill. Health bars are low. There's Holy Sheep trying to get into a position to drop the Unleashed power. It's on to Shroclo, though, and put himself in a rough spot. Oppression will just about be able to take that one out. Ends up being a very extended 1-for-1. Shroclo needs to take a reset right now. Jungle Buddha, though, is pretty healthy. Same cannot be said for the Sejuani, who's just had to take a reset, and it's now that Black Lotus can walk forwards, and it seems like they have their hearts set on taking down this dragon. They even get Shroclo to TP back in. I think MadMen, it would behoove them to just respect this. It's okay. It's only one dragon. It's not like you're giving up soul point or anything. And try and play this one forwards. Damon might have stepped a little bit too far out. Doesn't find the wall, though. Shroclo, alongside Jungle Buddha, going to be chasing onto Varric. The slows should actually be able to keep this the Sejuani in relatively good stock. Shroclo taking a couple of shots from the explosive charge. Damon going over the wall. That is the most delayed tectonic I think I have ever seen. Basically much ado about nothing after the dragon went down.
Yeah, it's very surprising with how all things went. Black Lotus being able to at least stay healthy enough to get that dragon, and like you said, it's not the end of the world. It's just the first dragon for Black Lotus. Sam Fett does push up a bit too far, a bit too far away from his teammates, and because of that, he does go down. However, you could also potentially see that as an unassuming bait as well, with how far ahead that some of the MadMen players were to try and get a kill on one more person, which does force.
Sheep just went a little too ham, honestly.
Yes,
there was not necessarily any need for him to chase
that
far forward. He's like, I really want to press my R key, guys.
Yes, but a lot of League of Legends players are like shark in the water. Once they smell blood, they want more.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, it seems that MadMen are trying to play across the map. Samvet might be in a bit of trouble here. There is the flash setup, although Clyde had actually charged up the Buster shot. Clyde will be able to pick up the kill here. It will be traded, though. Atakan on 3,000 health and dropping, although Sheep might have something to say about it. No, never mind. Atakan is dropped. Jungle Buddha, though, not all that healthy. Will be able to get out, though, with the assistance of Oppression. And I'm going to assume that's Static Dust, because otherwise that is completely unpronounceable.
I will say I was very confused why Clyde used his ultimate there, but then seeing the cow just come into frame, it made all the sense in the world. Samfair being used like a pinball ball, just being bounced all over the place.
Jungle Buddha not having happy times. It seems that MadMen really want this bot tier 1 turret. They've put the numbers in towards it. They have left Shroclo alone towards the top side, however, so the advantage that this Aatrox is built up is being sort of chipped away at as 5 members commit towards the bottom side. Buddha now using the subjugate. The pillar will come down as well. It feels like They might even be considering taking the 4v5 here. Health bars are dropping a little bit. MadMen are going to be able to walk this one out. Shockler, though, in the meantime, takes the top tier 1 turret down, evens up the turret score. Damon, you are too low to stick around, my man.
He does have his ultimate, but how much is that really going to help him when his HP is that low?
Ooh, Samvet.
Once again,
it's a little too far forwards. Is going to get dropped down. But again, a lot of time being committed. Money to Make does have his TP available, but seems like he is going to step off and away. The rest of the team might end up in a fight that they don't necessarily want. Damon going to be able to use his ultimate to step away. Jungle Buddha hunting, but not going to be able to find anything. As Money to Make will head towards top lane. I think he's able to prevent the tower from going down to Shrocklow. I'd love to see what health it ended up at, though. It's going to be pretty low, I imagine. The top lane turret.
Yes, it's about a third left in that HP.
And that is the price. A whole top lane turret and 2/3 of a second one.
Yeah, it
for
is
one kill in the grand scheme of things.
It is what happens when you do overcommit a little bit too much. I will say, when you have all 5 players down in one section, and you do know that your turret is being taken, and then you put yourself on the back foot, that hesitation is going to lead to defeat in the end, because if you cannot have the confidence to win a 5v4, then when are you going to have that confidence?
Indecision is death. As we say, I have
far on your screen.
Far indeed, yeah. Money to Make trying to put some damage down onto Shrocklow here as the rest of the team clearing out vision. That is a pretty dark river. Buddha taking a chunk for his trouble. You might be able to steal some resists. The Ignite gets ticked. There is the reset now coming through if Clyde can use it. Varric getting burnt down. And the stacking of the passive deconstructed the cow. Both junglers down, though, means that the play is pretty much over, although Shrocklow may have spent a little bit too much, has to flash to get away from this. Static Dust. For a second, I thought he'd start the dragon. No, actually just looking to take away that control ward that had been placed previously. And, well, we're going to wait another 30 seconds for the junglers to come out of the bases, and then we'll fight over it again.
Yeah, it's just a bit too much of an overcommitment trying to kill the Trundle. You know, once that Trundle gets down to that sort of lower HP, you should sort of be happy with that, because the Trundle is forced to recall. That's going to take some time to get back, and then from there you'll be able to at least get some pressure down on that bottom river, get some wards. But overcommitting, getting that kill causes a couple of deaths, I think. Damon also went down, or was he able to leave?
Damon, we're going to be annoying. The dragon is already ticking down, though. It will be picked up, I think, by the side of Black Lotus. And now, MadMen Phantoms need to figure out what the plan is. Jungle Buddha is sprinting forward. Subjay was available. He ended up not using it. As the Vel'Koz ultimate instead is used. Will be knocking a couple of members of MadMen down below half health. So taking a fight now is a risky proposition. They'll have to give up the tier 1 turret. They should be able to stop this wave at the tier 2. See, Money to Make is now the one to move out and away, back towards top lane. I think the team need to say to him, really, dude, you're really strong right now. You're at 2 items. You've got your healing online now, because going Voltaic Cyclic Sword first, you do that at a certain cost to your own survivability. I think a 3rd item, it would be a big break point here for the Aatrox to potentially start putting himself in a 1v9able scenario.
Yeah, 100%. You know, 3 items for most champions is normally the breaking point for when you do get your power. Your breakthrough, unless you're a Fane, and then it's 1.
Or you're an Aurelia and it's a Vamp Scepter.
Yeah, exactly, yep. Or you're just Cassandre, and just you being in the game itself is the power scaling that you need.
Yeah, just you know, find the copy pasta.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, you know, at this point, Black Lotus have been the ones who have had their hands on all the buttons, being able to completely out-pressure MadMen at this point in time. Like really, like they've really only been able to get kills when someone has been pushing up a bit too far. Champions getting away at very low HP. Really, once you start getting more damage items on your carries, once you start getting a
The
bit more...
Aatrox, it's so easy to find their picks, apparently. Flash fry money to make. You can't go underneath the turrets there, although Shroklo is going to consider it. That is quite a bit of damage being put down. The Vel'Koz ultimate not going to be able to secure the kill. However, now we mean that the TP has to be burned on towards mid lane. Meanwhile, Sheep is currently pushing the bottom lane in, so the overcommit this time by Black Lotus means that it is MadMen who are going to be able to pick up the actual material gains.
They are walking their way down to the bottom side as well, but the jungler for Lotus does get caught out.
Yep, going to be able to get out thanks to the Mikhail's Crucible, though, on Static Dust. And now Varric is getting run in, although Holy Sheep has the damage now. I don't know about the Splinters of Wrath, but it's enough to burst out the Trundle. Samvet is going to explode as well. Clyde able to pick that one up. Static Dust stepped forwards to try and help his AD carry. Is just going to be another body given across. I think Shroklo is going to be a bit of a challenge to take down. Clyde has taken a lot of damage from this Vel'Koz poke. They're going to continue, however, an extra kill, a rampage now for Clyde. And that was hilariously, that was a huge fight over pretty much nothing in the bot side river. There wasn't a dragon up. There is an ultimate available for the Vel'Koz if he wants to just clear out the wave, but it looks like he will give across that tier 2 turret. So MadMen now really up in material.
Yeah, you say it's for nothing. MadMen still get a lot of gold put into the wallets of all their players. They get 2 turrets as well, which means they now have more control over all that map. And like I said, so many people were getting away with such low HP, and all they needed was just to get one good clean pick, and that's exactly what
Sheep.
Sheep gets himself
tried to recall where he did not have a have license to do, and there's a Baron up. That's a mid laner down. That means numbers advantage for Black Lotus, who are going to pounce on it. Jungle Buddha isn't the healthiest right now, but I mean, there's Emilio on the team. It seems the call from MadMen is immediately just, no, we cannot step up to this. And they're going to have to concede a Baron.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. Worst comes worse, when you know people are coming up on the other side of the map, I do feel like you need to give them as much respect as possible. Recall in a position where you know you're not going to be able to get caught out. If you recall in that sort of neutral area around river, around the middle of the lanes and that sort of stuff, you're taking a gamble. And is it a gamble that's worth it? In this case, it clearly wasn't.
MadMen setting up the death brush. They are still down. Remember, Sheep has respawned, but he's in a position where he's going to find it really difficult to link up with the rest of the team. Meanwhile, Black Lotus are just saying, bet, let's start this one up. Jungle Buddha taking a bit of damage. The Cozy Campfire will top him back up. Damon sending oppression over the wall. The flash out from the Vel'Koz is necessary. Damon still keeping them busy off to the side, though. Jungle Buddha tanking up so much damage. Sheep gets burnt down and will end up dying to the burn. Damon dropped as well. The follow-up damage not there, so a good setup for MadMen, but they can't capitalize.
Yeah, I think they tried too much too quickly. They probably also pushed throwing out the Aatrox as well causes a lot of issues. The Sheep was not there. Like, you just have to wait just a little bit longer before pushing it. But, you know, MadMen were up by about 6,000 gold, and now that's come down to just, what, like 1,500. But it really doesn't feel like it. Even if it feels like Black Lotus are the ones that have the gold lead at this point in time, just with how they're playing.
That was some pressing of buttons by Clyde. Getting a little hyphy, perhaps. Like, yes, you need to defend your towers, but burning your flash aggressively,
it's very weird. Like, just not necessary whatsoever.
Smells a little bit of maybe desperation. The plays are starting to fall away from them a bit. They have given over all 3 of these Ocean Drakes. 4 minutes until a potential Ocean Soul now for Black Lotus, which, if we'd looked at the first 10 minutes, shouldn't have been, well, it wouldn't have been on my cards.
Well, I genuinely don't understand why you need to feel like you are like this desperate. You know you're by yourself. You know it's a Corki as well. And sure, even if the Sejuani and the Alistar are coming, all the Corki needs to do is W away, and then there's not really much as a Tristana that you can do. Like, just sort of, just collect the waves, be happy with that. You have seen that your picks are starting to be able to get better and better. You even won a very good, like, delayed team fight because of one single pick. All you need to do is just find a way to do that again.
Yeah. The problem is that we look across the Rift, the experience is all Black Lotus. Money to Make has been ahead of Shrocklo this entire game. He's a level down. And that is entirely due to Atakan.
He is a level down, but I do feel like he still has the advantage in terms of items. I could be wrong, obviously. But as things are...
about even, I think.
Yeah, it is about even at this point in time, which is quite confusing as well. But then again, Baron and that sort of stuff, that's going to happen.
I mean, look at these fights now. Shrocklo has so much armor at this point, and on top of that has anti-heal. The Money to Make can't really put a dent in this Poppy. Like, this is what Black Lotus told him to be in the early stages of the game. Sure, he fell behind, but this Poppy only died once, has stayed relevant, and now coming into these later fights, as we saw, just press R, take the Aatrox out of the fight, and make the situation extremely beneficial for Black Lotus.
And it was to see the pressure that the Poppy is actually also bringing as well. 3 people coming up to try and get this Poppy dead. It doesn't work. Poppy's still alive. It causes Black Lotus to be able to get that turret down on the bot lane as well. A bit more gold injected. Gold looking a lot more even. It's going to be very interesting to see a straight up 5v5 fight with these 2 teams, but that simply hasn't been the case at this point.
Level 18, not hit by anyone just yet, but I honestly don't expect it to be too far away from the likes of Shrocklo and Depression. I'm looking now because the next big question is, there's Baron in a minute, there's Ocean Dragon, potential Soul for Black Lotus in 115. If the fight goes well, you can maybe go for both, but it would have to go very, very well.
The bigger question for me right now is who is going to die first, this Aatrox or this Vel'Koz? Both still currently on 0 deaths at this point in time. It does feel like that is where a lot of where the pressure on both sides are coming from as well. If this Vel'Koz does die, that is a lot of damage taken out from the side of Black Lotus.
Definitely, Oppression has been positioning very, very nicely. Jungle Buddha solo just standing in the face of 4 members of MadMen. He knows he's got Static Dust behind him. When you've got the Milio ultimate plus the Mikhails, is a real challenge. There you go. Milio ultimate has been used, and now he's looking to turn this around. Doesn't use the Subjugate just yet. Damon trying to step forward onto Samvet here, but this Corki does a lot of damage. Sheep trying to flash away. Damon has ulted, but that life bar is only going to last so long. Long enough, perhaps, though. Oppression going forwards. Never mind. It's just melting through them. Damon is going to burn down. Money to Make is left alone towards the top side. It's a triple for the Vel'Koz. And Shrocklo can keep Money to Make locked in top lane.
Damon headbutting the hydrogen bomb of the Vel'Koz straight into his ADC baby's face, and it really doesn't go out that well. If anything, they could potentially end the game right here, right now.
Quite possibly. Money to Make is able to step away, but the spawn times are just too long, I think. Shrocklo can push top lane in. He's just going to TP to join the actual Nexus effort. Money to Make has the World Ender. I feel like you have to use it and try and make something happen here. The towers are falling, though. It's only taking Shrocklo to keep this Aatrox busy. Static Dust, Samvet, Oppression, all hitting on the Nexus. It is just going to be too long before respawns come through. Damon and Clyde come back up, but it is too late. And Black Lotus take down game 1.
Yeah, Black Lotus win the game even though they had 3 less bans and they didn't have their whole team in this game as well. Like this
They're
is
showing their pedigree.
yeah, most certainly showing their pedigree, but this is also going to be the case of like, is this already going to cause a sort of like a defeatist mindset in the headspace of MadMen? Or are they potentially going to try and quickly understand the areas where they went wrong and try and come back into this second game with a better mindset? Because it's just like I said, there were a lot of times where I'm going to be calling out the ADC specifically because ADC main, well, at least when I used to play the game.
Mhm.
Clyde, at the start, for the first half of the game, was not prioritizing the same champions. If he was, chances are things were going to go a little bit different. I feel like that's got to be one of the biggest points because even in the bot lane, Damon was focusing one champion and Clyde was focusing the other.
Yep. Clear and concise shot calling is what is needed in a situation like that. And after losing the game, we see, if I heard correctly, MadMen have chosen to take red side for game 2. So potentially storing up a cheeky little counter pick.
Potentially, yes, but at the end of the day, that is going to be when game 2 starts. And if you're fine with it, break, we can have a little break.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I could theoretically talk forever, but I think we can give the folks at home a little bit of dead air to, stand up, take a little walk, top up your drinks. We'll be back in a few.
I would like to eat my Korean corn dog.
Welcome back, everybody. Game 2 draft looks like it'll be getting going fairly shortly. Alright, Joseph. Game 2.
That's my name.
What do we want to see different? I mean, we talked about Clyde specifically, but on a more team-wide holistic level.
Generally speaking, when it comes to MadMen, I think it's just a case of just trying to understand when enough is enough. You know, when you get certain champions down to a certain point, just sort of accept, hey, that's it. We have done all that we can. Let's not overforce and cause more issues from this. Like I feel like there just needs to be a little bit of discipline, and especially when it comes to the side of Black Lotus, a couple of their players at some points were pushing a bit too far up, maybe getting a little bit too overconfident, or getting a bit too tunnel visioned on specific kills, which then causes them to fall behind slightly. So overall, I think it's just a case of just taking a breath, trying to not let the heat of the moment get to you too much, and stay disciplined.
And despite the respect I will say for the substitute that happened for Shroklo, who came in for game 1, Gloomy has now returned for the side of Black Lotus Esports. So they are back to now full power on blue side with a game advantage. So Mad Phantoms, they either got to be cooking up something really impressive, or, as you say, maybe just calm down a touch. You don't need to overplay team fights. Instead, just get something that can run a game at, I would say, don't even necessarily go for something that cares about early aggression. Just play for a solid mid-game into late-game transition.
Just as long as you play your composition how it should be played, that's really all that matters.
Pretty much.
So it's going to be very, very interesting to see if there will be any changes to either of the ideas of compositions that have come from both of these sides.
As we know, Emilio's gone, like, Alistair's gone, quite a lot of, 10 champions are disabled thanks to Fearless. Ezreal has made it through. That does tend to rise to the top quite quickly after the sort of very top echelon of carries has been stripped away.
Yeah, Ezreal, generally a very popular champion, is very oppressive during the early game, and it's very hard to hold him down. But if you can stabilize yourself, make it so the Ezreal doesn't get ahead too early, it is going to cause his later game to be a little bit more easier to handle. However,
I think.
with one oppressive ADC becomes another oppressive ADC as well.
We talked about it a little bit in last game, but yeah, I think Ashe isn't a bad shout. With the Milio especially gone, like that's the big nope button to the Ashe ult taken away. I mean, yeah, this look. Now, granted, Ashe Arrow and Cataclysm are both buttons that Ezreal, in theory, can kind of laugh at. But
Ezreal is just one champion at this point in time.
Precisely.
Still have to wait and see what the rest of Black Lotus' squad is going to be. I will say that Varric is very, very proficient on the Jarvan at this point. There is going to be a Jarvan and Xin Zhao battle in the jungle, unless the top laner decides that Xin Zhao was fine there.
It's good. I'm liking a game where I can see my two favorite jungle champions go up against each other. In the 1v1, it should be very Jhin favored. But, of course, in the team fight setting, Jarvan can be very, very disruptive. That said, the first three that Black Lotus have drafted are all picks that can circumvent the Cataclysm in one way or another.
Yeah, most definitely. But at the end of the day, they cannot get rid of every single bit of CC that there is on them. Galio as well, along with
Actually,
the Jarvan, a very good combination if you can manage to land
I
it.
like it. You can follow up on the engage, or you can do it to counteract an opposing engage. Especially good, of course, dropping the hero's entrance. Whenever Akali is trying to pop off with the perfect execution, there's a lot of times where Akali feels like a very unfair champion.
It does feel like at this point in time, Mad Lions are going for a sort of wombo combo
Mad lines.
in combat. Sorry, Madmen, Madmen.
It's like, hold on, we're on LEC. I wasn't ready for this.
Turns out we are now. But Madmen going for a very wombo combo oriented sort of style at this point in time. I will say you do need to have some sort of damage. Whilst Ashe early on is fine, come late game, she's not the best.
Yeah, there's a champion that can snowball extremely hard if you play around her correctly, though. And then alongside, it does feel like like a buddy system that could lead to some very lucrative things.
We will still have to wait and see. Banning the Olaf, that's interesting. I can understand
Yeah,
the
I
karma.
have to assume that's targeted, although it was banned in game one as well. But oppression, of course, is now back in the top lane
Mm.
with the return of Gloomy.
I do wonder why. Is Olaf just really, really strong at this point in time or something?
I I've certainly not seen or heard anything specifically to that effect, but maybe Mad Phantoms just really don't want to deal with that. I mean, it is very true that Ashe just does not get to have a fun time when an Olaf exists in the game because you can't slow him, you can't stun him, you can't kite him. He is pretty much just going to walk at you and cause death.
There's another champion for that wombo combo style as well with the Rakan.
Yeah, love the springboards you've got here with the Jarvan and the Galio. You can play to be secondary engage, or in theory, you could try and layer up these charm effects. Rakan going forwards with the quickness, pulling enemies into the Idol of Durand, which of course can then be layered with the Cataclysm on top. We're looking towards the
Isle of
top
Duran
lane,
Duran.
though.
On top, very general pick, very easy to use. Doesn't really need to have much items to be able to do what he wants to do. A very aggressive bot lane with what we see here with the Pike and Ezreal. You have the poke and that all in.
I mean, Black Lotus are clearly feeling themselves here. This is a composition that could backfire horribly. If the Akali can't get ahead, if the Pike can't get kills, then they could be in a rough spot. The problem is that they have so many different ways that they could potentially outplay you. You kind of almost have to constantly be considering. Like, oh, we got to watch out for the Pike. Oh, we got to watch out for the Akali. Oh, Ezreal's throwing Mystic Shots at us constantly. Oh, here comes the Call of the Forge God.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a lot of moving parts.
it is a very oppressive team comp. But I will say it's a little bit fragmented. But if everything can come around very well, then that's basically all you need. I will say I feel like MadMen with the comp that they have, it's a bit hit and miss. If everything goes how they want to, amazing. It's going to be very, very hard to get away from the amount of CC that they have and just the champions they have as well. But if something misses, it's going to be very, very hard to get the tempo back that they have lost. Especially because they don't really have a crazy amount of damage as well. They do have Gwen, which is a very good tank shredder, and also very annoying for certain squishies as well. Ezreal, I
Mm.
don't think is going to be one of those, because whilst he will not be able to hit the Gwen when she is in her shroud, the Ezreal that doesn't even need to get close. The Ezreal can just wait for it to come back.
Certainly can. And of course, all the while, you've got just some really solid foundational tools with the Zinzao, with the Ornn on the side of Black Lotus. Black Lotus are on the blue side this game. Reminder, obviously, the player names are correct.
For once.
Yes, yeah. We've managed to catch that. So, my concern for Black Lotus is that one of these pop-off tools can't be properly marked. Aside
For
from that, like the Xinjiao Ultimate is great if you were dealing with a lot of long range, which you're not.
mm,
They the Phantoms have drafted a bunch of in-your-face stuff: Gwen, Jarvan, Galio, Rakan to some extent. And realistically, Clyde is not going to want to hit the Xinjiao unless he absolutely has to on the Ashe.
I will say I was very confused seeing the map in the blue side. I was like, huh? But no, it's
Yes, that's all
yeah,
right. We figured it out.
yeah. The biggest issue for me, like I said, is when it comes to MadMen's side. It's going to be very hard to lock down the Israel. It's going to be very hard to lock down the Akali. The Pike isn't really going to be a significant issue unless
Mm.
you allow him to be, because the Pike can roam very quickly and very easily if he wants to.
Yes, indeed. The opposite side of things, again, Madman Phantoms have what is on paper a pretty simple comp to execute. There's a lot of tools that could make Akali's life difficult if she is a bit too gung ho with how she wants to play, shall we say?
Yeah.
But if Gloomy is respectful, I worry that Madmen fall into a similar trap as they did in game one. They burn a bunch of their tools early in the fight, and then Gloomy goes, I bet most of your ways of peeling me off your back line are now gone. And it's like, all right, catch these shuriken, Clyde.
Yeah. Oh.
On the side of things, the early game could be pretty spicy. Both of these junglers are ones that really like to do stuff early. They really like to get out onto the map pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm hoping so as well. Like, I really want to see both these junglers trying to be as proactive as possible, trying to get themselves ahead, their laners ahead, trying to make it so that they can set up on these neutral objectives, um, as early as they possibly can. Like, communication needs to be better from both sides, because again, there were just times when things that did happen did not need to happen, and I don't want it to be too clean. Like I said, I want to see as much blood spilled as possible, but I also don't want to see any silly mistakes as well.
Mm. As I
And
say,
and just like I said, on the side of MadMen, come late game, there really is only Gwen for like the damage.
yeah, money to make. Although, if I was going to put that onus on anyone on the side of MadMen Phantoms, money to make seems like a decent bet. Like, his Aatrox was very good throughout the early stages of the game. And I don't think I would put it on him that the game fell out of their hands.
Mm. No, I mean,
So, if you
generally
got to believe in somebody,
generally speaking, in terms of the last game, everyone did something that was a bit of an issue or an accident or something. Even something as small as recalling in the wrong place does have significant. What's the word I'm looking for?
yeah,
Like the butterfly effect from just a small accident can cause you to lose. By the
I
way,
see it.
I am very happy to watch how this game starts, how where these junglers go, how it all sorts out. Be very
Does
interesting.
one? I was about to be like, does either team want to commit to something on the level 1? The answer seems to be no.
Which is fair, you know, when on one side you don't want to give the team that's winning an early advantage. And if you have just won the first game, the last thing you want to do is get into the second game, try and do something. It goes completely wrong, and then you're down like 1,000 gold already. This is just
Mm.
Next time I won't miss.
I highly doubt any team is going to do a 5-man engage.
This time, a tiny bit more proactivity than we saw in game 1. Sambet throwing the occasional mystic shot up towards the tri-brush. A ward is placed down by Buddha. Okay. Production has confirmed it seems like the custom overlay is interfering with the spectator client somewhat. So it seems like we are going to have to dispose of that for the rest of the match.
Minions have spawned.
Sure, I'm sure we can still enjoy the game just fine. The question now is, how does Varric want to adjust his pathing to account for the fact that his chickens have been warded? It seems like it's just going to start on the blue buff. So we have reverse pathing from both of our junglers here. Which does mean that Jarvan could look to influence top lane early. Of course, Gwen's early game was made a bit better in recent patches. Too much to the chagrin, actually, of quite a lot of Gwen mains.
It also makes a lot of sense as well. If you know that this Gwen is going to be your primary form of damage come like past 25 minutes, 30 minutes, if you can get that Gwen ahead as early as possible, it's going to make everyone's life easier on the side of MadMen.
Sheep and Gloomy trading back and forth quite a bit. It turns out the Akali passive is kind of hard to bet against. And of course, you know, she can get away with starting with Doran's shield and still doing plenty enough damage. I note, towards the bottom side, Clyde was forced to burn his flash. It seems that Static does try to chase with the potential stun. Did not land it and then had to flash himself. So that's summoners off of the pike. So a lot of kill pressure in the bottom lane is now removed.
Yep. Rakan still has his flash, but then again, you know, trying to get onto this Ezreal or this Pike is going to be a very tough job. The Rakan,
Yeah, a bit of an ask.
Yeah, Rakan there just most likely just possibly trying to just keep the Ashe safe, which I feel like if you're going to have that sort of thing in the first place, possibly going something more like Oh no, possibly. It's a very hard one. I like, in terms of the overall game, I can understand having the card.
Him taking a chunk of damage is just going to get autoed to death by Samvet. The pull back on the bone skewer meant that he was unable to get into battle dance range of Clyde, and with Buddha coming in, simply too much damage for him to survive. Back now showing towards the top side. Oppression should be able to get out A-OK. Searing Breath will prevent, Bellows Breath will prevent the knockup out of the Jarvan. And Varric is already leveled down because he actually chose to sacrifice a camp to go for that.
Yep, Varric choosing to try and be an oppressive force against oppression itself, which is...
There's something poetic in there.
Yep.
Alright, the knockup is able to land. They get the flash out of the Ornn, but still, there's so much time committed towards topside, whereas Buddha has already cleared out the entirety of his jungle. He can now take a reset. His camps are now respawning. Meanwhile, Varric has yet to clear some of his camps from his first rotation.
It is going to make him down in terms of levels, in terms of gold and that sort of stuff, which there is a very good chance that has a big effect in team fights that can possibly come, but again, we'll just have to wait and see how that happens.
As it stands, Black Lotus certainly feeling the more confident of the two teams, which, as I said, now that their main mid laner is back in the series, that could be quite indicative. Oppression, trying to put the damage down, flash forwards from Jungle Buddha. That will be a second kill picked up. Gloomy putting the damage down onto Sheep as well. If you can keep getting those passive procs off, the damage adds up really, really quickly.
That was a very good W flash from the Xin Zhao as well, being able to land that, get that kill as well. Really good.
Yeah, the wind did become lightning. Static Dust and Samvet stepping up. They spot Varus having started the dragon, and it seems that they're not too keen on letting MadMen claim that one. Remains to be seen if they want to continue it. It seems like the answer to that is no. Dragon will just reset for now. I was wondering, hang on.
Huh.
I don't know how far behind we're talking camps-wise Varric is right now, because I think the bot side camps did actually reset while he was playing towards the top side. Because as Buddha comes back out, he is only the one camp up. That said, there of course are a greater number of overall camps available on his side of the rift right now.
With the early aggression that we've seen, it seems like a lot of things have just started to cool down.
Ooh, goes some good damage, but it's
Like, so
a Kali.
that
She
goes
presses the
down.
shroud and you can't auto her.
Very fun gameplay.
Yeah. Grub's coming up before too long. It's not going to be... Oh, dear. Clyde
Very good knockup.
uses the barrier already. Static Dust mispositions, though. I think he is going to have to flash out here. Otherwise, he's just going to get walked down by the Ashe autos. He doesn't burn the flash. And Damon actually ends up being the one to pick up that kill. That is at least MadMen on the board.
Yeah, it's unnecessary to do that one last auto attack for it, but you know it happens. It does mean that the bot side, bot lane of MadMen do have the momentum now to be able to push this in, get a recall, get some more items, and
about 500 gold was the price Varric paid for that play top lane. And well up, Static Dust towards the top side. Varric not level 6 yet, but is, which means that looks like Grubs are just going to have to be given over And with resets coming through at this time, MadMen can't start up the dragon either. So there could be the angle for Black Lotus to position such as to punish an attempt on the dragon here, as we now see started.
It was practically going to be a guarantee this was going to be the case, but I don't think this intel is able to get down in time before this goes. But who knows, they might be able to get a potential kill to come, but it just seems like Sincel is going to get the top side of Varric's Varric's jungle, and I think
I mean, that is still a real price that's being paid.
It is, and that is the price you pay.
It's not a happy time for Sheep. Trading. Just a bit of a pain, and Buddha also seems to be angling to come in towards mid lane. Does have his flashback up, but Sheep is positioned such that he'll be okay for the time being.
Gold still within the 1,000 mark at this point in time. Nothing too crazy.
Well, we were talking about top lane being a potential win con for MadMen. Is dead even.
I
Well,
feel like it
Rainmake, of course, took that death earlier, but CS-wise, at least, pretty much dead even. So not actually ahead. The Ash Arrow coming through. Flash cannot be used by Static Dust. Zambek has been caught out as well. Varric is going to die to the turret damage. Jarvan, that is the weakness of this champion. He's very aggressive early, but he really doesn't get tanky until you've completed 1.5 items. Buddha now coming in, trying to chase in towards Clyde. The damage should be easy enough to find. I say that. Clyde trying to chase away. Damon is able to make it to safety. Clyde is putting the arrows down there. The Galio ultimate to potentially save the play. It won't save Clyde, but it may be at least a trade back. Sheep is able to pick up one.
It's a very tough one to say, because I don't think that MadMen would have had the damage to get both of the kills when the Pike and the
Oh no, Static Dust was able to find Damon towards the backside, which means there is a reset on the Pike ultimate. Sheep is trying to get the damage down onto Zambek. His Pixels is able to find the kill. Static Dust, though, again, it just only needs to play this out. Sheep, though, is doing a good job continuing to keep eyes on the Pike, forces the flash out, and will be able to win out on the play. Gets 2 kills for himself. Varric now coming towards topside, trying to get this kill onto the Ornn. There will be a plate secured as well, and they force out the TP from Gloomy.
Yeah, very nice play. Very, very simple, very easy. Just go in, get the kill, walk out, get the plate, get the Gwen a little bit ahead, which is what you need to do for this composition. The Gwen
Very simple,
is
very
going
efficient.
to make a break. Yeah, simple, efficient. Bada bing, bada boom.
And that's one way to bring yourself back to... I wasn't going to say he's irrelevant, but obviously he is still behind in terms of gold. Needs to finish up a first item. I feel like there is a very convincing argument that the Jarvan does need to build at least some damage here to supplement the Gwen. Especially since Sheep getting the kills doesn't actually mean all that much. He's still going to build tanky. Like, you can't really do the hard AP burst Galio in a competitive setting like this. I say that he's going to do good burst anyway, apparently.
Yeah, I don't think it's an absolute necessity, because you did see the damage at this point in time that they did do to the Pike when they did go all in. That Pike's HP bar basically going from 75 to 0 within 2 seconds, more or less. Well, even less than that. They just did not have any follow-up damage for the Ezreal, and they just overstayed a little bit. But again, you know, it's not perfect science. These guys are not training 10 hours a day, understanding every single small tiny detail about these champions. or such mistakes
Yeah, that's
going to happen.
I think to expect that would be somewhat disingenuous. One thing that's nice to see, at least as a certified Akali hater as myself, is that once the first item has been completed for Sheep, Gloomy is, at least for the time being, completely unable to trade properly with the Galio.
Yeah, once the Galio gets tankier and tankier, it's just going to get tougher for the Akali to do next to anything against him.
That is the entire trade pattern that we just saw for Sheep. Made to be made. Thought that there was, but not got the damage quite yet.
We are starting to see that the scissors are doing more damage than a smithing hammer at this point in time.
Vision, of course, is going to be the name of the game at the moment, though, Joseph, because, well, Dragon's up.
Dragon is up. Those scrubs, the second set is also coming at this point in time as well.
So fun story. No, there's only one set of grubs now after the Ionia
there's only one.
Yep. Single set. Damon is going to look to try and open up the play here. Jungle Buddha is jumped on, and that is a lot of damage being put down, but he's not dying just yet. Gloomy is trying to find his target. He did not land the shuriken flip onto a key target. Varric is going to fall down here. Sheep is making good space, but he will also fall. Clyde looking for a chase angle, but they are not able to find it. Samvet feeling confident to step forwards. Dust gets slowed up. Gloomy is still looking to find the angle. The shuriken flip lands. The volley will do its work. The Pike now trying to get away. There is not a flash available. And all of a sudden, that is a double kill for Clyde. He and Damon, they waited out. The longer fights are where the Ashe starts to thrive.
Yeah, we are starting to see that just the small little bits of tempo that this Ashe was starting to get is paying off. Being able to get that dragon, get a couple more kills, everything is starting to very, very complete actions as well.
Sambat still playing this quite aggressively. He does have flash and barrier available, so not necessarily too afraid of dying in this scenario. Got support coming up soon as well.
All things are starting to slowly go on the side of MadMen, because as you saw, once they are able to get one bit of CC down on someone, the rest of the train just comes and absolutely plows through as well. But we do see
can't be getting caught like this. He's all right.
Yeah, thankfully did not get punished for it.
Yeah, somehow he gets away with that.
But it is
right now, this is a very even early stage of the game. MadMen do have around 1,000 in the advantage. We're looking, of course, to see now who can pick up the feats of strength. Feat of warfare was picked up by Black Lotus, of course. If this Herald were to go down in favor of MadMen, that would be the Jungle Camps one. And then it would just be coming down to who can take the first turret as to secure those.
If we do look at the HP of the turrets on the mini-map, it does seem like that bottom blue turret is the one that is the most damaged at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Buddha stepping in. Hasn't been able to press his ultimate just yet. Now we're able to do it. Flashes just pixels before the arrow makes contact. That is a flash off of the jungler, which now means that MadMen feel emboldened to start up the Rift Herald.
And
you should be able to keep them at distance, but gonna look at the Ornn. He's pushing onto the turret right now. There's no TPs to answer as Sheep is still trying to guard the play. I think that tower might just go down before Money to Make can get there.
Yeah, definitely does seem like it. And honestly, if it's for a feat of warfare, it might honestly be worth it to just lay down your life for it as well. But thankfully, it didn't need to come to that point in time. Able to get that first turret.
The Black Lotus end up being the ones to secure the feats there. It's not the hugest of advantages, though. Good movement from Damon means that the engage is actually turned around. Samvet has to get away. There's no arrow to follow it up, unfortunately.
The only
But,
thing I'm getting from these games is that blue side love feet.
Gloomy getting caught in on. No flash available. Cataclysm is going to make that a pretty simple deal. Way to make. Sensing Jungle Buddha's presence is going to step away for the time being. Static Dust potentially winding up for an engage angle. Samthet is providing a rather tempting target, but the Ashe is positioning well. You are going to be able to find the angle. There is the CC chaining. Damon lands the quickness and the knockup. It is simple as that for Clyde to put down another arrow onto Samthet. Even going to drop the Shelly into the tier 2 turret on top lane. So despite losing the feats, the tempo is very much in MadMen's favor.
Yeah, very much so. You're starting to get a lot of these turrets. This Ashe is really starting to become a very oppressive force for this Ezreal and this Spike. Not really able to do much of anything.
That's just gliding.
And
Clyde
also,
dodges away from the Call of the Forge Guard.
Against this red side, if you get CC'd once, you know for a fact enough the CC is coming around the corner, or from underneath you, or above you, or from another dimension entirely. You might as well
Galactic.
just yeah. If you get CC'd once, you might as well just get up from your chair, go downstairs, make a cup of tea, come back up,
Take a
and
lap.
you're still CC'd. Yeah, take a nap. Yeah, wake up. Go to work,
put a little
come
makeup.
back, still CC'd.
We can see the team's trying to set up for the next dragon as Gloomy has found himself once again caught up, and there is all that CC you were talking about. Perfect execution had to be used, so it should be a simple dash out. Yeah, exactly. Just lock him up, take him down is very much the strategy that MadMen are subscribing to right now. Gloomy is taking a reset, does have TP up and available though, so can rejoin the play, just is lacking in ultimate right now.
Yeah, the only real issue there was the fact that there wasn't any damage around to take care of the Akali. So she does get away, but again, on very low HP, does need to recall, going up now to contest this Gwen on the top side. So it seems like it's going to be a 4v4 situation around this dragon.
Samthet is actually away from the rest of his team here. It looks like the call is just to jump on in onto the Xin Zhao. It will be the kill onto the Holy Sheep. Static Dust could look for an angle. Clyde is quite low here. Damon trying to step forward, but Samthet is keeping him at arm's length. Holy Sheep will do now the body blocking. There's Varrock and the bot lane looking to start this dragon up. Oppression walking on down. And the TP coming in from Gloomy as well. This is going to be a tough call. I think Clyde is just going to drop. The ultimate of the Pike is not actually what secures the kill, though. Oppression now going to get caught up in the Cataclysm. Samthet is still trying to play this fight out back. I think just trying to stay alive long enough to secure the dragon. He's able to do so. Flashes over the wall. Samthet is going to follow. He's stepping around so many Mystic shots, though. He's actually able to outplay it and take down the AD carry. Sure, he drops for his trouble. But in the meantime, Money to Make took down the tier 2 turret in top lane. And MadMen continue the pressure advantage at least.
Jarvan having them fancy feet. A big reason as to why Valanth has been a finalist in Division 1 2 times in a row. Really hoping to get that championship this tournament. Just very well played on his side. Sort of having that confidence to be able to work around it, sort of get inside of Sam's head, discombobulate him slightly, whack him around the face, get that gold before he dies, along with the Dragon as well. They are now one dragon away from Soul.
I'm telling you, Joseph, this is a cider kind of game.
I didn't hear that, sorry.
It's a cider kind of game.
A cider kind of game?
Yeah, it's a game of inches. Hide.
It's
all of the defensive tools in the world being used to try and save him, but turns out when a team tries really hard to jump on an Ashe, if the support is not basically right next to her, like base-to-base contact effectively, it's probably not going to be enough. And that is a shutdown given across. Actually, no, a shutdown would have been in the previous fight. Meanwhile, though, the Gwen is now just being an utter side lane menace, has broken down the inhibitor turret in top lane, is continuing to push this one forwards, and we said it earlier that we were kind of hoping for this Gwen to be the big difference maker, and is starting to pick up some steam.
I like how the side of MadMen are like, oh, our ADC's dead, don't need him.
Yeah, continuing the push. I think that is because right now Black Lotus are actually quite divided. Static Dust tries to go forwards, gets taunted up and taken down. The sidesteps are pretty damn clean. However, the play has been it's a bit of an obfuscation, as Black Lotus are able to pick up the Atacon. And remember, that was one of the sizable difference makers in game number 1. It looks like MadMen don't want them to get away with it just for free. Gloomy trying to use the perfect execution to get out, will be able to do so. Money to make, trying to find the angle forwards. The arrow catches onto the Akali. That will be an easy enough pickup. They do need to step away. The turret is starting to do some real damage. Buddha putting some damage forwards, but it's onto Sheep. The last person on this team you want to be hitting. Way to make needs to be a little bit careful. The recall is able to complete. Could TB join the play, but it feels like it is simply over at this point. And still, MadMen hold around a 2.5k gold lead.
Even though Black Lotus do get the Atacon, I think on the side of MadMen, you're perfectly fine with that. You get turrets, you get one of the inhibitors, you put down so much pressure that you even get another kill from this as well. It's still very good on their side. Unlike in the previous game where they really sort of gave the Atacon up for nothing, they're able to have a trade offer that they're more than content with this time.
This feels like a better setup for them. Varric is now at the point where he is tanky enough to be the default engaged situation. Gloomy, this is money to make towards the top side. The Akali suddenly feeling like they're thinking better of their life choices, as they weren't able to connect the Shuriken flip. And therefore, the burst just not enough to deal with the 2.5 item Gwen at this point in the game.
I do feel like MadMen do need more vision on the top side. I do know that the Pike has just taken some of it out. But you have an inhibitor destroyed, you have super minions, and even though you do have the couple of wards of dead, I feel like you want to put a lot of pressure on this Baron at this point in time, because if you could just take out...
It's a little bait coming through. Ash Arrow over the top. Static Dust is able to keep them at bay, though. Gloomy can try and get a recall off. Galio actually lumbering his way into view. They're continuing to just trying to pull Black Lotus around the map. The slight problem has been for MadMen that they haven't been able to secure towers recently. That said, they are pushed, or Black Lotus now are effectively scrambling to get into the pit to potentially contest for this sole point. They're just going to flip it. They do flip it, but they win the flip. They like those odds. Buddha goes into the pit, not going to be able to win that one out. They're looking to continue the fight, Black Lotus here, as the Akali is trying to get out. Oppression has to flash away. There is a Baron up and available and a jungler dead. This is smelling a lot of game number 1, actually, just kind of flipped around.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference was between game 1 and 2 in terms of the conversations that happened over on the side of MadMen, but it's obviously worked.
The question is, are Black Lotus going to let the dragon, the Baron go? Like the MadMen did in game number 1. Samvet and Gloomy are looking to step forward. They're going to put some damage down, but I still think that actually stealing it is a nigh impossibility. The True Shot Barrage comes over the top. Gloomy is found out. Samvet is springboarded. Damon coming over the top. Varric considers chasing onto Static Dust, but the call is made. There's a lot of gold in the pockets of the MadMen right now. Their gold lead has suddenly exploded to 1,500. Well, not 1,500, by 1,500 from picking up the Baron. They are now over 5,000 in the lead. With Baron there, they can look to pick this forwards. Clyde stepping a bit too far forwards without support, though. These problems do still exist. They are very much still present. Buddha, realizing there's no way out, tries to put some damage down onto Clyde, but the support is now here, and the Ashe can fire with impunity. The remaining standing gold outside the base of Black Lotus being sieged on. Of course, with Baron-powered waves, they don't necessarily feel the need to stop here, as the mid inhibitor is going to fall quickly. They can also take a little stroll towards topside if they choose to get the top inhibitor that, of course, has respawned since Money to Make took it about 10 minutes ago. Instead, they're going to group us 5 towards the bot side. A second inhibitor is going to fall. The waves are a bit thin at the moment, though, so they may have to wait a moment before continuing forwards. They're going to keep the waves inside of the base, though. They don't want to let their opposition have any more breathing room than they allow. Call the Forge got over the top. It's denied because the Ashe arrow hit onto the Ornn. Clyde, however, is jumped on by Gloomy. He's not quite able to find the distance. The Pike is able to chase towards the backside, though. The death will be avenged. 4 members of MadMen still chasing into the base. Damon finds Samvet under the Nexus turrets. Double kill for the Galio Sheep. Looking real good this time around. Oppression may be very, very tanky, but he hasn't got the damage to stop the MadMen from closing on down this game number 2. I don't know what the difference maker was, Joseph, between 1 and this, but that is so much gameplay coming out from the Phantoms.
There is a lot I want to say, but I had no time to say it because it was one thing after another. It's just like what we said. Just the amount of work that you had to do. I could just sit back and relax. But when your jungler is dead, there is absolutely no reason for anyone to try and go and stop that Baron, especially with the amount of CC that this other MadMen does have, with how squishy the Ezreal and the Akali are. You get CC'd once. It doesn't matter how low anyone is on the side of MadMen, which, by the way, they were not. You're going to die, and they did die, and then they get the Baron, they get 2 kills. The amount of tempo they get, the jungler of Black Lotus trying to overforce once again to try and get a kill. Again, completely unnecessary. You don't have 2 members. It's completely skewed. You lose your base because of it, and you also lose the game.
Oh, we can look at some stats.
Yeah,
I like
so
the numbers
this,
here. Clyde, top damaging. I
honestly,
like to see it. It's nice to see I said, a slightly cleaner game coming out from him. I feel like there were, as we said, a few unforced errors from him on the Tristana.
again,
But
small things.
This looked a lot better.
Yeah, 100%. Because honestly, with Clyde being the one to engage, everyone had to go on his target, which definitely seemed like it was the better way to go around it. It's going to be very interesting to see how this game 3 goes, but before we could even talk about it, once again, I feel like it's good just to give our voices a little bit of a break, get some water, relax. What are your thoughts on that, Britt? Little break?
I just got flashbanged by production counting up to bringing us back in. That's why would you do that to me?
People work in mysterious ways.
Mistos does work in mysterious ways. It's in his name. Uh, we are just getting ready to get on into game 3 draft. We see Mad are back on the blue side. So it seems the red side is, generally speaking, favored, at least by these teams.
Well, considering that red side has won on both sides, that does seem to be the case. Though, can MadMen break that cycle, or is it simply going to be another red side win? We'll simply have to wait and see. Once again, the Ferris being banned against Sam. Ferris
Yeah.
just a very good overall champion, able to go a good number of different builds, depending on what the team wants to do.
Yep.
But
The
with
Aatrox,
how
the Akshan ban is something that I find quite interesting. That says a lot
Akshan
to me
isn't,
that yeah, it's the sheep special as I suspected.
it
Silas
is
once again going as well, Nocturne. So yeah, we're seeing quite a lot of very similar bands.
it is sad to say that action is not coming.
A little less conversation, a little more action, please. Apparently not. Ari going to be the final phase 1 at least ban out from the Mad Phantoms.
Now, for MadMen, you have now seen that having a composition which is just, oh, one person CC'd, I'm gonna put my CC on them, and then that person's gonna put their CC on them. Just having that chain of just this one person is going to feel all of our wrath at once seems to be the
Yep.
way. So going that simpler, easier to execute composition does seem to be the way to go. I say that Kaiser's locked in straight away. But do they have the 500-pound skin?
Don't. Please no.
The 500-pound skin, just so they can make every other skin look absolutely terrible in comparison.
Yes.
Riot aren't a greedy company. They want every player to play this game. Can't afford it? Tough luck.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is just a skin. It's not even like a win more skin. Like, do you remember? I don't know if you saw this, but the Faker Ari skin is technically pay to lose.
Really?
Yeah. As you level it up, there are actual animations on the screen that can actually make it harder to see certain things.
That's quite hilarious, actually.
So you have the diehards like Nymera, who were never not going to get it.
I think it's just
Ooh, the
shame, to be honest.
Seraphine. All right.
Yeah, no, Seraphine is, generally speaking, a very good pick. Very, very good in team fights, with the extension of her ultimate going over enemies and allies at the same time. But once again, it does seem like MadMen, if they do lock in this Amumu, which it doesn't seem to, Oriana, same sort of situation as the Amumu anyway, in terms of a very easy AoE ultimate to get, and they're also going for the Amumu as well. So it does seem like MadMen are staying with this sort of idea of let's just get very
Yeah.
easy to hit CC that does a lot of damage, a lot of instant issues for our enemy, and then if anyone tries to skedaddle away afterwards, we just have the Kaiser there who can just ult on them and knock them over.
The response to the Oriana seems to be the Azir, which could put a bit of a spanner in
It can do.
the wombo combo play. Like the Emperor's
The
Divide,
Shuri,
gonna make
yeah,
it a little tricky for the Amumu to perhaps find good ults.
potentially the Shurima shuffle possibly causing some scuffle for the MadMen. But we'll simply have to wait and see how everything else is. It's also going to be interesting to see where this Pantheon is going as well. Top lane, jungle,
As we said, we do love ourselves a good flex. There is also
no
the very niche flex angle towards the Amumu support.
I
Um,
there is also that, but I doubt it.
I don't necessarily believe it, but I do like to throw out that it is a possibility.
But they are getting rid of the Braum on the side of MadMen, which makes sense because Braum can block the Orianna ball from moving to where it wants to go.
Certainly can.
And
We see that
like,
support bans seem very much to be the order of the day, which makes a lot of sense.
yep,
In fact,
especially
most of the two of the main engage champions in Not Leona taken away by Black
yes.
Lotus. And with the Braum gone, it makes a good deal of sense to get rid of the MF, considering her true. Well, Braum is very good at mitigating the MF ult, of course. So with him gone, there might potentially be nothing standing in the MF's way.
I'm just trying to think about what other supports could be good here. Maokai might actually be a pretty good option to have. Unless
Yeah,
it is
and
a
you again, you have the crazy flexibility. I see, for Mad Phantoms, I would like the Volibear a lot if they didn't have to immediately reveal what their other thing was going to be.
well, to be fair, they've gotten two like the Amumu and the Volibear. I think there's really only like two areas they can go. But even then, it's still going to be interesting to see if this Amumu is support. Then they have done a fantastic job doing it there, which it does
It
seem to be
is.
actually. It is
Yeah.
one
All
wonder.
right, Damon. Let's see it. The Ambessa got
So
banned.
wait. Is that Seraphine APC?
Yes, 100%. Seraphine
Interesting.
Rel bot lane, which feels a little perhaps uh like where's the damage of those two? There's a lot of CC, a lot of disruption.
Yes, but we
That
also
could be
have
an angle towards the damage. So this is the Warwick is a pretty niche counterpick to the Ambessa. So we'll see how that matchup goes down. I will be watching with great anticipation. There was unfortunately, there was a brief period where Ambessa could go in the jungle, but I don't think that's something I would want to see this game. Especially since I don't think the Volibear has much better of a time into the Warwick.
I don't know too much about top lane, especially with the Ambessa and stuff. I only know Ambessa from being a squishy ADC where she looks at me wrong and I die.
Hmm.
But no, these are still very interesting compositions because once again, on the side of MadMen, it is just a case of, hey, two people with very easy to hit ultimates. After that,
Yep.
the Ambessa can go in using her ultimate, and then Volibear can just
Yeah,
come
one
crashing
bandage
down
toss
on
lands and
people.
you're just kind of in.
Yes. But then you have the side of Black Lotus, where if the Seraphine can get a good ultimate, potentially with the help of the Azir and the Rel using their ultimates, that's about 3 or 4 people that can be charmed at once, and then you have the Warwick going in, and then the Pantheon coming down from the stars as well. It's going to be a case of who can get the ultimate combos first.
Yeah, my concern is that if they get too excited and all try and press their buttons at once and one of them misses, that could lead to all of them missing.
Oh yeah, very much so. But that was also the issue that was there last time as well. But MadMen hit everything they needed to last time. It's going to be a little bit tougher here, simply because in terms of the CC that can engage is significantly less than last time, but it's still the same idea.
That it is. I'm wondering, Black Lotus have a really scary comp to walk into, which
Oh, they
is which is concerning, considering the Madman Phantom's idea is to walk at you and land a couple of bits of CC and try and pull you apart.
But again, it's just like I said, I think it really just depends upon who can effectively get the ultimates off first. Like, if a Mumu can hit 3 people, that's a very easy Oriana three-man ultimate into a very easy Ambessa going in, into a very easy Volibear going in. But again, if Rel can get 3 people, then then that's Seraphine 3 hits as well. It's
It
it's
sounds
gonna
an awful lot to me like we got ourselves some very swingy team fights.
yes, the team fights are going to be absolutely made or broken upon these ultimates, and I love it. Like, this is one of those games where you could be 6,000 gold up, and it does not matter.
Well.
Uh, yeah, I was about to
Oh,
say,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I was
it's
looking at it for a second, like, is this going anywhere?
yeah, I was
It's
like,
fine. Obviously, the draft is progressing, and in fact, has already completed. So I,
we are
I,
there.
I'm still looking forward to this Amumu day, this Damon Amumu.
Yes,
I don't
very much so.
quite know how it will actually play out in the grand scheme of things,
I mean, to
but
be
I'm at
fair,
least
it's still
excited to see it.
if if the Amumu can hit the first Q, then that just means that the Kaiser gets two very good clear stacks on her passive to be able to hit,
Yep,
and
very nice.
it's the same sort of idea as Nautilus, to be honest. 2 easy CC if you can hit the first one.
That it is. I think the real difference maker for either side is going to be how this top lane goes, because I feel like it could be like I've said that this is the team fights feel very swingy, and it quite possibly might come down to how well this purported Warwick counterpick does into the Ambessa. Because Ambessa, known for being an absolute terror, but one thing that she lacks, especially in the early stages of the game, is healing, and that's something that Warwick has an awful lot of. Like, as long as you don't run out of mana on the Warwick, you are going to be able to outlast the Ambessa.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a case of just the investor needing to sort of understand. I don't win this. Let's just scale up for later. But again, this is Division 1 of a low elo tournament. It's still going to be very fun to watch. Something's going to happen which doesn't make sense.
I'm trying to run this scenario, I'm trying to
Yeah.
run this scenario in my head and try and figure out how this game's gonna go. But these first two games tell me that is perhaps a fruitless exercise. Okay. We've been banished to the dark realms of the on-air chat.
Where?
Terrifying, I know.
Oh, yeah. Completely forgot about that. Oh, well.
I know that I suddenly realized the silence, but Yeah. I'm trying to look at these comps from every which angle, and I'm still like, this is like the Sphinx's riddle. Like, I feel like getting further from the truth the more I think about it.
I just want to see big meaty men slapping meat. That's all I care about.
Oh well, we are on to the rift. So all of my thoughts. Never mind.
We were onto the rift.
Yeah, well, we're on the rift. We're just not quite gaming just yet.
We are not able to move our feet. It's currently red light. There is no green light.
Yes.
Way!
We might well be in there. I'm gonna wait. It might be a little bit of spectator jitter. There it is. The question is, like, it's game 3. Does one of the teams want to, actually commit to something a little bit?
I don't think that's going to be the case because, again, like,
Probably not.
It's too risky as well. And I also will say that the Ambassador does have Ignite. There is no flash on the Ambassador.
Yes, so the amount of dashes that Ambessa gets mean that it is not actually, like, required to have it. The problem is that you're into Pantheon Warwick. So if Jungle Buddha ever lands a W onto the Ambessa, the likelihood of Oppression being able to follow up with the Warwick Fear is pretty high. So we'll have to wait and see if this comes back to bite money to make. Of course, Warwick going with the tried, the tested, the barrier top lane.
Okay. Yes, I'm also just thinking, potentially getting the Ignite for the Ambassador possibly also means that they might be looking for some early aggression.
Static takes a bandage toss for his trouble. Will be able to spot out that Varric is starting on his chicken, so both junglers starting towards the bot side. Clyde taking a little bit of poke that probably wasn't necessary this early in the game.
Not really, no, but it is a Seraphine. Seraphine early on is always going to have more range, more poke than the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, and that is pretty much the natural case of mages making their way into the bot lane. It certainly is the case with the Ziggs bot lane, which I'm particularly a fan of.
I think Seraphine was the only sort of APC that I actually played and had fun with.
I cannot enjoy Seraphine.
Honestly,
I find her character insufferable.
Oh, just do what I do and just mass
the character voices.
No. Just do what I do and mass spam the taunt, because it just makes Seraphine just go ooh over and over and over again. And if you have a really good spam finger, it's so obnoxious for everyone else.
It's not going to be as good as Needs More Cowbell, though.
No, I also like the what's your favorite like spam emote?
So it's either the Needs More Cowbell or, and this is a bit of an older school one, the Odan from Vel'Koz.
Oh yes.
If you've seen the Spazzy.
Yes.
From back in the day. Money to Make is not scared of playing this top lane a bit more aggressively. I think that is to their credit. The problem is that there is a Pantheon making his way top lane right now, and I don't know if the Ambassador is aware of that fact. Varric isn't too far away. Now the Pantheon will be spotted. Barrier and Ignite are traded back and forth. Q charged up. It's not going to do all that much, however. Meanwhile, Clyde and Damon not having the happiest time, but they jump forwards onto Zamveta. They're actually able to run it through. First Blood is secured for Clyde. I do think Static Dust will be able to trade it back, but First Blood onto the AD carry is very nice. Damon, don't know if he has any stun charges. Yes, he does. He is going to try and play this one forwards, but The problem with these AP bot laners is that they can run teleport. So Samveta is going to get back to bot lane a lot quicker than Clyde. So offsetting a little bit of the gold lost from the Kai'Sa getting the kill.
Yeah, but I will say having the TP, whilst yeah, sure, it does allow you to get back into lane. It does just mean that you are missing a battle summoner, which because of this Kai'Sa having it, it did actually mean that she was actually able to get that kill before dying.
Yep. Engagement towards the bottom side, though. While the Rel is on a reset, Varric, though, taking a lot of damage. Never mind, the Rel wasn't on a reset. He was attacking Holy Sheep on the mid lane. Somehow, Orianna able to make it out alive, though. It's Gloomy, who is actually kind of in need of saving. But nobody dies on the mid lane.
Yeah, a lot of action happening and not too much going on in terms of it, but we are starting to see the damage that the Ambassador is able to do. God, I hate the recent champion designs. I'm so happy I quit this game, and all I need to do is talk about it.
Honestly, then maybe I should follow you then in that. Like, I have more and more found that I love casting the game, but I'm not good enough at the game to find common enjoyment.
Started to see there just some small little bits of poke happening here and there, just some small little skirmishes, nothing too crazy. Just
level 6's top side though, and look who's made his way to the top lane. It is the Pantheon. I think Money to Make does suspect something's up, especially with how aggressive oppression is being. Like, you're not just going to walk up like that unless you have jungle assistance. So
this does mean that the Volibear does have priority over the dragon, which does seem to be what they are going to go for.
Sam and Static are actually looking to play this one forwards. That is a very aggressive proposition, though. Sam Vetit trying to get out here. I think Static is going to be dust as punishment for his crimes. First dragon will be secured by the side of MadMen Phantoms. As we saw in game 1, though, Jungle Buddha not going to rest on his laurels. Will claim a couple of spare camps that were just left lying around in the top side.
Just so much damage from just one or two abilities from this Ambassador. It's crazy.
And I don't know if it's enough to actually keep up with the self-healing of oppression, though.
Yeah, but the Ambassador does have Ignite.
That does. Jungle Buddha again towards the top side, but Money to Make, whether he's being told to respect it, he is respecting it, and not able to find a good target. Oppression now actually looking to move out of top lane. Of course, no flash for the Holy Sheep. Could be a prime gank opportunity, but Static doesn't seem to realize he's currently stood on a ward.
Well, now they do know, thanks to that control ward. Small little bonuses here and there. The Ambassador slowly getting advantages.
Oppression is... might just lose this one out. Uses the ultimate. The damage coming back across, though. He's just going to walk it through. Doesn't even need the public execution to secure the kill. Static lands a stun onto Holy Sheep. Damon is the one who gets stunned by Jungle Buddha, but the numbers are just not in their favor right now. Damon going to look to try and find the angle. Ignite onto the Pantheon. No ultimate. The flash will be secured. The rest of Black Lotus are going to be forced to walk away. So Grubs and First Dragon quite possibly going to be picked up for the side of the MadMen. Holy Sheep again being engaged upon, but Gloomy is not in a position to actually get the shuffle.
I mean, yeah, in terms of this top lane, they don't call him Money for nothing. certainly living up to that, getting the advantage in this top lane, getting that gold advantage. It does just seem like in terms of this early, it is going the way of MadMen, being able to get the
Well,
grabs, the dragon, the kills as well. They are
yes,
literally
but that
just
also
all
happened
day.
in game 1. Sheep getting scooped up by Gloomy. Meanwhile, the Pantheon ultimate. Flash not available, but Sheep is basically going to have to play Ring Around the Rosie for a little while. He will end up dropping. Jungle Buddha able to secure that one. Meanwhile, though, Varric making sure Oppression feels the oppression this time around. Damon has caught Samvet in a bad spot, does have his flash available, burns the ultimate, but dies before he can use it to escape.
Yeah, just small little advantages. As we see, even though the mid lane does go down, top lane gets a kill, bot lane gets a kill, and because of that, I do think that this Kai'Sa is actually able to get that that plate before it goes down. Like, 10 minutes in, it is just a 1.5k gold lead, but it's nothing to love at this point in time. But hey, now that everyone does have their ultimates, this is where it's going to be a massive make or break for both of these teams.
Damon being a little bit of bait there, I think, trying to delay Jungle Buddha's back time. Of course, it's 1 minute and 15 until the next dragon comes up. Clyde has found a bit of an angle towards Flash into the Curse of the Sad Mummy, and Samvet not going to be able to escape. That is the problem with the Seraphine. Immobile, incredibly so.
You know that your support is not there. Although you do have the flash, you're still putting yourself in a very, very precarious position. And I always like to think, what are the things you aim to gain, and what are the things that are a massive subtraction? What are the risks? At that point in time, the risk was far too much.
Good flash out, pulls them back with the shockwave as well. Not quite close enough to the turret to really threaten the kill. In fact, now Magnet Storm coming down. Jungle Buddha is coming in. Sheep in the 1v3 though makes it look a lot closer than I think it had any right to be.
Yeah,
There's Oppression going to use the ultimate top side. There is a public execution. No, never mind. It was already used. Oppression is able to heal up, step away. Still not having a good time in towards this Ambessa. Flash still available for Sam Bennett. He's just not using it.
I think even if he does use it, he's still going to die, and he sort of understands that as well.
Some questions need to be asked, though, because this Seraphine is 0-4.
Yes. Honestly, at this point in time, this Seraphine is honestly just going to be an alt bot.
That's concerned, though, because where's your carry then?
Well, it seems like it's possibly going to be this Azir, getting a couple kills over on the Orianna, has a pretty decent CS lead as well. It does seem like a lot of the pressure that Black Lotus are putting on is in the mid lane as well. It is just a case of that that Samfet is not respecting the times when his support is gone though. Like, he's died twice because of that issue already. And it's like once is
Money gets out with the teleport. We didn't get to see much of that,
nice.
but Jungle Buddha not able to get what he wants. Static Dust is turned again to Sam. Has to burn the ultimate defensively. Again, the wave is now coming in though. Stormbreaker, or Stormbringer rather, not available, but it's going to be enough to force Sam away. And it might not be a full tower going down. Never mind. Damon finds the stun. Varric gotta be so careful though. That damage coming through. Clyde able to pick up yet another kill. Sheep trying to play this one out, but the Emperor's Divide will pull him back in. At this point, fully stacked with lethal tempo. It is going to be a fairly, I say fairly easy. Gloomy did have to burn the flash to secure the kill.
Yeah, very close on both sides. Yeah, Sam, once again, he did do better. At least he was not in a bad spot, and his support did die beforehand, so it can at least be forgiven. But it is one of those cases of, you know, if he didn't make those early mistakes, would they have had the damage to be able to kill him in that section? Maybe, maybe not. It's a bit too hard to tell. But either way, things are still going somewhat smoothly. There's some rough patches here.
Oh,
and there.
public execution used by Money. Delays Gloomy's back, of course, is going to affect his tempo slightly. 20 seconds until the Herald shows up. Shelly. And of course, Clyde has moved out of the bot lane to try and apply some pressure elsewhere onto the Rift. They've put Sheep into the bot lane. It's the two sort of struggling members of the game right now. Been put into bot lane. Just farm up, bros. Don't worry about trading against each other. Just get your items and be ready for 25 plus minutes when big fights are going to start breaking out.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, as an ADC, you know, whilst you do want to go into mid lane at some point in the game, I feel like when you're way too far behind, you have to sort of swallow your pride a little bit. Sort of don't let ego get to you, and just sort of say, yeah, this is fine. I'll just farm up. You guys do the work. When I get more damage, I can come back in this game. Just sort of stay composed. Something which I didn't have the best time doing at times, but I
mean, people will say just stay composed, but it never is truly that simple.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
on paper, it sounds all fine.
Yeah,
But
it is very hard to do. But you just don't want to get like. It is okay being tilted. It is not okay tilting the rest of your team. I say, as I also did that at times in the past as well. I mean,
nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I am not the perfect cookie.
Damon has found Sam again.
Sam.
Sixth death. Oh, are we literally just trying to go for the 07? Like power spike? Public execution. There is no ultimate available for the Warwick. Does have a flash. In fact, might be able to use it to escape. Never mind. Varric closes the door with the Stormbringer, and there is still that top tower on low health.
Yeah, MadMen.
Still to pick up.
MadMen at this point in time are sort of looking at Sam and saying, "You might have won the last two Division 1 tournaments. That doesn't matter anymore. You're in our jungle now."
And I mean, what a glow up, right? For at least game 2, and so far in game 3 from MadMen Phantom. They started out 0-2, but they are looking to potentially claim a series off of what initially looked like group favorites.
Yeah, I mean, at least one of the group favorites, definitely. Like, you know, this team currently are in second place. It does say they're in first place.
Damon looking for the angle in. Curse the Sad Mummy not been used just yet. He's just ticking down as Gloomy is able to pick up the kill. Money has come in from the far side though, and Sheep is there as well. Shockwave onto the important target. Look who is untouched. It's Clyde off to the side doing the damage, making it hurt. Money will look to run down Sam as well. A double kill for the Ambessa to boot. There is a dragon to secure as well. It is Soul Point, an 8-1 Kai'Sa. A 3-0 Ambessa, you're feeling good.
5 kills for 1 death, you take that every time of the day. You're getting the dragon, you're getting pressure on these turrets, you're possibly going to get 2 turrets from this as well. It's looking more and more MadMen favored as things go on.
They're closing on a 4k gold lead as well at this point in the game. So I think it's safe to say that Black Lotus need to do something drastic, or MadMen need to do something foolish for this kind of disparity to start closing.
There is nearly a 3.5 thousand gold difference between the ADCs. Which, you know, when you look at the Seraphine and the Kai'Sa, you are sort of expecting the Kai'Sa to have more gold, but not this much by this point in time.
Quite like the cheeky little Oblivion Orb on Clyde there.
What, sorry?
I'm quite a fan of the little Oblivion Orb pickup by Clyde. Obviously, going for all three evolves, but I think that little bit of heal cut, very nice. I mean, you got all the healing that a Warwick can do, all the healing that a Seraphine can do. If you can proc that damage across multiple members, and spoil as you can, you've got a static shiv.
It does allow the Orianna to go more damage orientated because of it as well.
As we see with the Storm Surge.
Yes. I always do forget that Kai'Sa can go, like, hybrid. Which, you know, if you're going to go on hit, if you're going to go on hit at the spawn stamp as well, hitting the Oblivion Orb isn't really going to do much damage in terms of the amount of damage you yourself can do. It's a perfectly fine pickup. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Buddha is going to use the Aegis Assault to try and step away. And will avoid most of the damage as a TP actually coming towards the play. Clyde has found himself in an awkward situation, is caught by the Magnet Storm and by the Infinite Duress. The health dropping down and he will fall down. Varric is still playing this out. Curse the Sad Mummy is making this fight very playable as in comes Money with the damage. And it is cash for the MadMen. Jungle will try and get through, but it is simply not enough. Gloomy is able to survive, but it is, again, 4 members of Black Lotus down. The incredibly fed Kai'Sa did fall, though.
Oh, Money, he is a crime against this Black Lotus team. I am trying to think of as many songs that have Money in it as possible. And
I just think of, I immediately think of Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Pink Floyd Money, yeah. It's a crime. There's also Money for Nothing by Dire Straits, which I
to
earlier on as well.
I mean, if you want to go a completely different way, you've got Money, Money, Money for ABBA.
Oh yeah, that as well. There's also the Shane McMahon theme song, which is just Money as well. Here comes the money.
Loads of money.
Loads of money. Which is also what he has. In fact, does Money have the most money at this point in time?
I think it's got it. No, it's still Clyde. Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah. He's actually got, funnily enough, Money's got less money than Sheep, and Sheep was the one who was struggling in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, well, that's just top life.
That's gold efficiency right there. Yeah. As it seems like perhaps a little bit of desperation coming through. As Money gonna TP in. That's a catch from Damon, though. Not quite able to drop the ultimate down. In fact, he didn't have it up. They're playing this back to front, though. As they're playing a 2v4. Money needs to get out. Clyde, wait, how did you end up there? Damon drops for his trouble. And that is... Wait a second. Just how disjointed was that fight? I saw Oppression died to Sheik. Off to the side, so it seems that the Warwick basically played a giant sort of sting operation, and MadMen getting a bit overconfident, playing their hand a little too far from the chest, but maybe.
It is a little bit confusing. Like I don't understand why you would try to go all in when you're 3 against 4. Like I do understand you do have the Amumu, but the Amumu wasn't even able to get the ultimate off, and even if the Amumu did, I don't think it does a crazy amount there. Sort of just have to understand, hey, the rest of our team are doing something, let's just try and stall things out until they can come help us. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's not a massive loss. It's what, 2 for 1 in the favor of Black Lotus. It might have been 3. But no one got the no one got Atakan, so it's still to play for, and there's also the Dragon as well.
There's also Soul on the board. MadMen, they are simply going for it. I feel like Damon has to go in, or somebody needs to go forwards. There it is, but not able to find the angle in. The suppression lands onto Varric, but the follow-up isn't there in time. However, the damage more than certainly is. Clyde is able to play it backwards, though. Damon dropping to Gloomy. This Azir is very, very scary. The follow-through, the ultimate from Clyde was available. The public execution will find Samvet as he tried to slink away from the fight. Static now on the run away from Sheep. and just needs to keep him occupied. Stop him from recalling at this point because he's got 2 members pushing in the mid lane. Sheep is in zero danger of dying here. In fact, the Storm Surge is about to proc. And Static will fall down. Inhibitor turret and the ace secured for MadMen Phantoms. 24 minutes. The base is broken.
That's a really good catch to get, because it means that Static is going to be significantly delayed compared to everyone else, meaning that they can potentially go for this Atakan and have the number advantage along with the gold advantage as well. And with Static being one of the main engages, if not the main engage for the side of Black Lotus, it just means that MadMen can just walk into this jungle, get the wards down, clear the wards as well, and just be in the prime position to do this Atakan.
Well, they have started it up. Now Black Lotus are aware of that fact. Can they step in, though? I actually don't know who got that one. It is still secured by MadMen. Damon goes in to make space. Gloomy trying to run this one out. The Encore does some good work, but there is no damage. There is no follow-up. It is a triple kill for Clyde on the Kaiser. Game 1 was a bit shaky. Game 2 looked good. Game 3 looking pretty fantastic. And it feels to me, at least at this point, Joseph, that Gloomy is kind of the only one who could pull Black Lotus through this.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just going to be so hard to get past all of these ultimates that the side of MadMen do have. It's so oppressive, in fact, that Gloomy has to use his ultimate defensively just so he can stay alive.
Trying to play their angles right here. Oppression has the ultimate available, but going in would be a literal death sentence at this point. Baron now seems to be in the eyes of the MadMen. Of course, neither team has basically any vision in this side of the river at this point. Money's recall did not get interrupted. And instead of foolishly starting up Baron without vision, MadMen gonna take their reset. They are nearly 8,000 gold in the lead as it stands. Varric does need to abscond quite quickly. It seems like there's an attempted chase down, but the rest of MadMen Phantoms are making their way out of the base. And they should show up at the Baron in force.
Yeah, and just with the they're so far in the lead. It's how are you able to even stop this? Like Black Lotus.
They saw Gloomy bot lane, I think.
Yeah.
They're starting this one up. Is there a TP anywhere near? It is, but it's an awkward angle. Pantheon is now coming in. They fail to steal it once again. The fight is on all angles, however, but the damage is what matters. Clyde stays alive, will continue to run through Gloomy. It's kills over kills. Sam is the last one standing, but it is again an ace for the MadMen Phantoms. They are resurrected, and they will take their first series win in Division 1.
And that is game, set, and match for this series. MadMen coming back from what seemed to be quite a damn clear win for Black Lotus if we just go by that first game in of itself. But they show their they compose themselves, they come back, they win, and this is honestly a very good morale boost for this team in the hopes of playoffs.
Fantastic signs across the board. Ooh, money. Doing numbers. 26,000 damage in the books, but that's not to discredit the rest of the team, because that was a well-orchestrated game. I will take some points off them for the blunder near the Atakan, but in the grand scheme of things, they take a clean soul, they get a Baron, they play the match out in a tempered way that, yeah, is an absolutely fantastic sign of things to come. Alrighty, we have an interview incoming. I think Gotek coming in. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I mean, easy question out of the way. You've got a dub on the board. How's that feel?
It feels long overdue. We're quite happy with this win. Yeah, we knew we had it in us, and finally we could show it.
Now, a very, very quick question from me. Which one on the team are you in terms of the IGN? I don't actually know.
Oh, I'm money to make.
Money!
top laner.
Okay, but
See,
thank you
this
very
is
much.
why in organizations like this, I feel like like Damon, get on this. All right, players need to have their names set to the actual IGN in the server.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
no,
But anyway.
an actual serious question from me. So, game one, Black Lotus have to use a substitute in the first game. There's a little bit of a role swap happening because of that. And that game you lose when the enemy don't have three of their bans.
Yeah.
Most teams
No.
when that happen, it's a very bad hit to their egos and whatever else. But you managed to somehow compose yourself in the second game, get that win within 30 minutes, and then this game it just felt like it was always in your favor, aside from one or two small little areas. What happened between game 1 and 2 for you to come back swinging so hard?
Yeah, I think what we did well was take a little break. I feel we weren't really tilted. We knew we had the game in our hands, but we dropped it. So we knew we just had to refocus, focus on the next game, and just play it. And yeah, it went well the second game. So yeah, we're very happy.
How does it feel? Obviously, Clyde's a relatively new addition to the team. How's it been with him sort of melding into the squad?
I have to say he's a perfect fit. We tried him out a few days ago, and we knew from the get-go we need this guy as our ADC. Like he knows the lane, he knows how to play ADC, he knows when to go in, when to back off. He is vocal, and it's just he fits right in, which is weird. We never played with him, and the synergy is just there between Damon and him, and it's just good to see.
Yeah, sometimes that just happens, doesn't it? Sometimes
Yeah.
You count your blessings.
Two players that are
Yeah.
just right for each other. Yeah.
Could have been the other way around, but I'm happy he's been performing.
No,
Fantastic
honestly,
stuff.
very good games. It's possibly like a good thing, a good sign for things to come, because I believe it's the top 4 of each of each of the
Yeah.
divisions that go up. And
Yeah.
in terms of how things were looking at this point in time, if things carried on, you weren't going to be able to go through.
No,
Again,
for
this
sure.
is your first win aside from the forfeit win because of the that one team pulling out against the team that is in second place. That the team that was having a very good streak of domination.
Yeah,
It should surely bring some confidence out, right?
yeah, for sure. In scrims we knew we had it in us, but yeah, like you said, in the officials, it didn't really go our way. So for me personally, I feel way more confident in to perform better in VL and Div 1. Yeah, I think this win was very important for the team.
Yeah. The biggest issue, like the first goal any team should be looking at is just to get into playoffs.
Yeah.
That should be it. Like, focus on one thing at a time. Look at these small things first.
hmm
When I won Division 2, I had a 60% win rate in groups. Going into playoffs, it went up to 90%. It just shows how a playoff buff can happen quite quickly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is good to get the bad the bad series out the way first.
Yeah, I think the first series was the most difficult one of this split for sure against Celestial. So we knew that after that the matches would become more doable. Of course, the second loss in week 2 or 3, I believe, was quite devastating. But yeah, we're very confident to win the next one and make it to playoffs, hopefully.
Have you got any more questions, Brick?
No, that I think we touched on a lot of the major points that were
Yeah.
that were in there, and yeah, excited to see the team's progress as the rest of the split plays on.
Yeah, I think I have to give a big shout out to Pilo. He's our new coach. We brought him in almost the same time as Clyde joined the team, and he's also been very
Coach
helpful
Pilo.
with the draft, with small problems that we don't see in the game or after the game to review. Yeah, he's been very lovely to have as a coach.
Fantastic to hear. All right, well, I think we can let you go unless I don't know, production was saying.
All right.
Cool. We'll let you go and celebrate your
Yeah.
win then.
Thanks.
While Joseph and I round out the stream.
Yeah, well, good luck with the stream ending it, and good evening.
Have a good one now.
Yes, bye-bye.
Well.
Yeah, no, a very good set of games. It's always good when a series isn't one-sided.
No, that was back and forth, and as Money said, like they knew that game one was in their favor, and that they sort of fumbled it.
Yeah, I'd prefer it if we didn't. Either way, very good games. I'll be more than happy to come and cast again at some point. I'm probably not going to touch the game again, but I always love seeing
No,
die
stay away.
and fail.
Stay
Yes.
away, dude, for your own safety.
I've broken the curse. I don't want to go back
I would
in.
I would love to say I'd know exactly when I'd be around next, but well, I mean, for one, as of Saturday, I'm away for a week plus, so we'll see how things stand when I get back. Anyway, thank you, Joseph, for a very fun, I like this. It's sort of chill vibes cast.
Yeah, I know I'm not the best color commentator, but as long as I can do my job, as long as people are happy with listening to
I
me,
mean,
that's what I care about.
I
I don't care
know,
about
the aspiration to be
professionalism.
yes.
I just want it to be fun.
We are very happy with both of you, discussers. Thank you very much.
I would like to think that we managed to get that one in.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you to the magical voice of Mistos who has run the stream.
Always.
And
Voice in our ears.
Stay tuned on this channel, or at least,
Yes.
follow and have notifications on to know, if you're not in the server already, when the next match will be. That's going to do it for us.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see
hope
you
to see you again at some point.
on another MadMen stream. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.